Hello. Am I still good? You can hear me?
You are still fucking loud.
Well, someone didn't turn the gains down.
I did turn yours down. I turned everybody else's up.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. It's all good.
I'm just probably not in the background anymore.
You ready? We can delete that first 5 minutes.
No.
Yeah, I don't do that shit.
Yeah. There's some of it we just have to. I do.
Firing it off.
No.
Okay.
Depends on how
Hello,
much.
listener.
Depends on how much and what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Welcome to Untitled Car Project. I'm Rob Spring.
Jeremy Molt.
I'm Grant Gonzalez.
They're stepping on each other.
I know. My dick hurts now.
Oh, ouch.
I missed the direction of you pointing. I'm like, oh.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't see it. Well, it's all right. Let's see. Today on the show, we're gonna talk crap.
Yeah.
Not cars?
Once again,
We
don't have a guest.
Or do you mean
because
crap like we're talking about like Toyotas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Dude, we got lots of topics. I heard somebody had 80 something topics that they wrote down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't bring them with me.
Oh, well, they're in the car.
I haven't looked them up yet. Actually, I got them right here.
There you go. See? We have multiple spots.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, first thing I want to talk about is I ran across a Facebook group just this last week called Project Cars for Sale Cheap. And I signed up for it.
Oh, interesting. Is that the one you sent me?
It's fascinating. Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
It's like bring a trailer on steroids.
No shit.
It's awesome. Anyway, I reached out to the group originator, the guy that came up with it. Had a little chat with him back and forth, hoping to get him on the show next week.
You got 9
I'm
projects?
excited to hear his stories.
I'm excited to hear his story.
Yeah.
He told me a little bit about his background and stuff, and it sounds really cool. So yeah, want to check it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, he let me post on the group. Super thankful for that. Thanks.
Oh, nice.
Brian Morrison, thank you. Appreciate it. So hopefully, we get him on the show next week and have a little chat.
That'd be good.
pretty
And just
great.
a reminder for all those people on that Facebook group, I mean, send us your stories. We want to hear it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I wanted to bring up is if you're out there working on a kit car, I want to hear about it. So I ran across a few kit cars.
Really?
On that page.
Ooh, someone's getting excited.
No, I don't want it.
Why not?
No. I have enough cars. I have enough projects.
Well, Jeremy needs more in his garage.
No, there's no
Agreed.
room.
Dude, we could easily put a Volkswagen GT, like Ford GT in your garage.
A Volkswagen Ford GT.
Yeah, a Volkswagen Ford GT.
I think I saw one of those.
No. No.
Anyway, if you're working on one of those, we want to hear from you. So email us at untitledcarproject@gmail.com.
Or hit us up on our Instagram or Twitter.
That's right.
Yes.
What's the Twitter?
Twitter is at Project
Untitled
Car Pro.
Yeah, Untitled
Yeah.
Car Pro. It's
Untitled
new. Okay, it's
Car
new.
Pro.
Yeah, Untitled Car Pro.
And do we have a Threads yet?
Yeah, it would also be the Untitled Car Project
There you go.
through Instagram.
All right.
Yep.
No Facebook yet.
No, Grant.
We're working on it, people.
working on it.
We're working
I'm
on
more used to the wrenches, not the technology.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So anyway, I would be really interested to talk to somebody that's doing one of those kit car projects, see how far along they are.
Yeah.
What condition did you buy it in? Did you buy it from somebody else that bought it and took over their project? Grant.
Yeah.
The Lambo.
It'd also be interesting to hear someone who just started from the ground up.
Yes.
That's one that would fascinate. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
from the beginning to the end.
Yeah. I would like to.
So here are the rules, listeners.
We got rules.
No, there's not a fucking rule.
This is Fight Club?
If you have a project of any kind, send it to us.
Yeah.
And we'll either look at it and talk about it. We'll get you on
All of the above.
and talk about it.
Or we'll make fun of you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, on
we might.
my way over tonight, when I stopped at the grocery store for dinner, there was a group of motorcycle riders in leathers coming out of Baskin Robbins,
That's awesome.
and I was like, God damn it! I want to roll the window down and yell at them, but I'm afraid to get shot
That's your
at.
first thought. My first thought is, God damn it, I want some ice cream now.
No, not that.
That's what I thought was ice cream.
Not that. Like I was gonna yell
Yeah.
shitty things at him, but I was gonna be like, dude, what kind of projects you guys got?
Yeah.
Because even the motorcycles and stuff like
absolutely.
that,
Motorcycle
totally.
guys.
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of projects.
We'll do a little 2-wheel Tuesday for you or something. You
Oh, I
know?
like that.
Damn, that's a good
That's
idea.
a good idea. Oh,
Because I've been wondering how we're going to work in the bikes. I know some people that do bike
that's
projects.
that's what we're gonna do.
I've restored a few. They're not real vintage. What do they call those? Evo bikes,
Yeah.
right? They're
An Evo bike, electric?
No.
Evo. Evolution. So they're
So-
80s vintage.
Is that what they're really called?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, those are Harleys, right?
No.
No?
Dirt bikes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wait, so then what are they
Dirt
called?
bike
Street
projects.
bikes then? Evo 2?
Street bikes.
Okay, so
Evo 2.
I don't know.
Evo 9.
Yeah. Fast and Furious. I don't know. Anyway, that's a great idea. Let's work that in.
yeah.
It'll be Dirt Bike Wednesday though, because we record
Yeah.
on Wednesday. But
Well, we can put them out as a special on Tuesday.
I like
though.
it. Yeah. Have to get you to actually show up for recording on Tuesday. Then. Okay. Beside the point. You know what I saw today was, that bus that you were working on, the VW bus. I saw one
Really?
right out here at the stoplight.
Was it blue?
Yes.
I
know
know
who it
probably
is.
hit-
It's literally probably the one that's over here.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, it's the one you mean, the one over here?
It's the one
Next
that
door?
parks on the.
There's
Parks on the
an
property
older one that I worked on, and then there's another one that's
Thing was
younger.
pristine.
so that it was probably my cousin.
Yeah. I wondered
I
if it
guarantee
was.
you, I bet you it's my cousin.
Yeah, I wondered if it was because wow, what
Yeah.
a gorgeous.
Yeah, from the
looking
outside,
Volkswagen
no,
bus.
it's really good, and the inside, like I said, it's
Even
fantastic.
from what I could see of the inside, it looked really good.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's fantastically done.
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
beautiful. Okay, one other thing before we get into any kind of topics. Well, this kind of pertains to a topic. Have you seen yet a Cybertruck on the road?
Yes, multiple times.
Quit playing with your mic.
know, I can't
You're
help
making
it.
audio difficulties.
That's a grand thing you're doing. Stop that, Jeremy.
Right?
Now my mic's falling over.
To turn it. You have seen one on the
Is that
road?
better?
Yes,
How many? Just the one?
it's weird. I think there's someone in my neighborhood who has one. As you're going up this street, which I won't name,
Sure.
as you're going up, there's a person that will drive one every so often. I've seen the same one, I think, in the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks, multiple times on there.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird and wild seeing one on the road. I feel like, and it's a controversial opinion, either you love it or you hate it, but my thing with the Cybertruck is nothing looks like it on the road currently. And I think when there's a lot more that will be on the road, it will lose its special charm. Instead of being like, wow, look, it's right there. It'd be like, oh, there's another one going by. It will become what every Tesla has become.
Oh, for sure. Tesla wise, but charm, special charm.
I just puked.
Is
in my
that
mouth.
right? Is that how you feel about it?
Even if it's, well, here's the thing is it's not a very common car to see. Okay?
No, it's not.
And-
I've only seen two.
yeah. And that being said, special charm mean I think for
It's
me,
different.
it's different, but there's some people are going to love it and be like, wow, I've seen it every so often. And then some people will be like, oh, this thing's ugly. I'm in half and half. There's times I think, oh, that's a cool truck. And then there's times I'm like,
Yeah, honestly, I feel like, in my opinion only, if you have one, too bad.
You don't get to have my opinion.
I think the possibility, the biggest thing that caught my eye about it was the modifications that people drew up for all the AutoCADs of them. What the potential of saying a Halo looking one or a military looking one, or something that's not the factory one that's all.
Oh, I'm
stainless
excited
steel.
to see the projects on them.
Yeah, I think
I've seen a few posted social media projects. People have already torn them apart and put motors in them and that kind of stuff. And I did see one that actually looked pretty cool. It was all slammed to the ground and supposedly had an LS swap something.
that's cool.
Oh, yeah, I saw
And,
something about that.
But the ones that I've seen on the road were very underwhelming. I thought they were ugly as sin.
Yeah.
They actually are uglier than the pictures.
So which one have you seen?
They're also super
There's
wide.
multiple versions.
So it's,
There's 3.
well, there's
I did
the
not know
stainless
this.
steel one.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I've
that's
seen.
the standard one.
There's a black one.
Okay, that I didn't know.
No.
And I don't know if they have it in any other colors, but I saw one online today that was black. And I'm going to tell you right now, I do not like the way they look.
Yeah.
I think the technology is pretty awesome. As much as I'm a diesel guy and big motor guy,
Like that in the background.
Right.
like that in the background, I'm actually interested in the electrics because really it is going to be the way of the future. at some point.
Somebody read the show notes this weekend.
I didn't.
Oh.
I did not.
So okay, I didn't know there was multiple versions of it. I've only seen the two. Stainless steel, whatever.
Yeah,
the black one. They're just big and ugly.
The versions I know about, I know they made different colors. The versions I'm talking about is like single motor, dual motor, and extended range one. So you got more power.
You can't tell the difference by
no, exactly. Like for seeing in the outside, I did not know there was a black one. I didn't know there was a third one on top.
Anybody
of that.
can paint.
I think it might be wrapped. I don't know.
Sure,
but
that would make sense.
It looked good in black. I'll give it that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. I'm not thrilled with it. It's whatever. It's different, right? And maybe it'll grow on me, but
I have my opinion. You want to hear it?
Well, that's what we're here for.
I think a bunch of billionaires got together and bet Elon Musk that he couldn't make a truck that was the ugliest thing on the road.
Yeah, I doubt
and
Elon did that by himself.
I think he took the bet and made the ugliest truck on the road, and it's going to be selling like hotcakes.
Hot take. I don't think it's the ugliest thing on the road. I think there's other cars uglier than that.
I can agree with that.
Like hands down. Yeah. I think for cars that are being produced now, new, it's probably a close contender. I think there's like a Hyundai in there or a Genesis that may compete with that, but no, as the ugliest car of all time. I mean, even
I can name an uglier car.
Yeah,
from this year though.
What?
From this year?
Anything Mitsubishi's making currently?
Because there are uglier cars.
Year.
Is there an uglier car that was made in the same year?
Oof.
The new Blazer.
Haven't seen it.
Google it. You got your computer in front of you?
I will
brilliant.
say.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
I will say this too, though. You know, it reminds me of the old video game and the old movie Tron.
Yeah, it does.
It does, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I kind of dig it for that.
Do you want to know what it really reminds me of? The new Cybertruck does?
Blazer looks like every other stupid SUV out there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because it's nothing special. But anyways, the new Cybertruck, it really looks like the low resolution Countach. Have you guys seen that?
Countach car?
Google that. Yeah. So it's at the Peterson Automotive Museum. Is that what it is? And there was a guy who made it like in the 80s of a car that's supposed to be a Countach at low res.
I have seen it, yeah.
And it's like a polygon. Can you turn around to Jeremy? Look at this, Jeremy. Listeners, if you can Google it, you'll see it. It looks like something from the 80s.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it looks like a obelisk.
But it does it does look like a Countach.
It looks like
it actually has wheels.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it should be able to drive.
But it looks like they're trying
that
to
on a YouTube video.
Doug DeMuro.
Yeah.
That was it. Yep.
It looks like they're trying to get some mileage out of that thing, you know? That shape.
It's reminiscent of the F-114.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. Do you think in the future when Cybertrucks say get on the used market and they become actually quote unquote affordable, or to the point where there's so many that they're not like in junkyards or wrecked or whatever, that people are actually going to buy them and either engine swap them or make it so they're affordably swapped to be back on the road?
There will be, there will be a market for that kind of stuff, you know, once the batteries die and that kind of stuff. Absolutely, people are going to engine swap those things and just do weird shit with it.
Or they'll
take the body and put it on a frame of something else.
Yeah, or they'll have aftermarket batteries or something.
That's going to have to happen.
Oh, yeah.
So this leads into the EV revolution, right? Does the EV revolution ruin muscle cars? Does it ruin car culture?
Oh,
that's a big deal.
No, it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just a big deal. It's right now, it's potentially the future for us.
I think it changes it.
I don't think it can be. And there's a lot of reasons why.
I would love to hear them.
So
I hope you're right. But I really think like with the way the electricity and electric cars are coming, like there's going to be a culture coming.
Well, that's the problem is we don't have the infrastructure, and the infrastructure is 50 years away. We can't.
You think it's that far away?
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
We can't build enough electrical power on a grid to support everybody running electric cars.
Oh yeah, California is proving it.
Yeah.
We cannot do it.
And California wants to go to all electric by 3030.
3030.
I thought it was 30 to 35.
They may have changed it. It was 35.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pushing it hard. We don't have the infrastructure in.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're too far away for it.
I don't know.
But regardless, if you have
semis.
the infrastructure for it, that doesn't stop from community. I mean, look at people who have really niche cars and they make a really big community of themselves. Let's just say, I don't know, old Mopar. there's not many of those around. They stop in like 70, 2, 4, 3 is when that classic was. And there's a community about them.
I'm not saying there's not going to be a community. I'm saying it's not going to take over. It can't.
Not yet.
Oh, it's a long
it's a
time down
long
the road.
way out.
Even if
They're
it's
even if
it's a long time out, that means it will be coming. I mean, we can go into a whole different topics about what future tech's coming. Like hydrogen, most places are now, or companies are starting to switch to that, or going back to hybrid technology. But in terms
in the
of
next 50 years, even in my lifetime, I doubt that we'll see electric be more prevalent than petroleum, internal combustion.
Oof. I don't know.
That's just my opinion.
So I honestly think battery technology is going to evolve and change.
Of course it will.
And
it does every day.
I think what you're going to end up seeing is over the next 10 years, it's going to increase. And over the next 20 years, I think it'll be increased again. I don't know if it'll take 50 years for them to build the infrastructure.
I think it will.
I think they definitely need to think about the infrastructure, and they also need to think about how to charge those cars more efficiently. I think there's probably multi-facets of what they need to do in order to make it successful, but right now it is not going to be successful.
Absolutely.
Well, let's tackle that topic like one at a time, like you were saying. You're saying like technology catching up to itself, right? Mm-hmm. Look where we've gone in the last, let's just say 25 years, 24 years, okay? We entered the 2000s barely having the Prius. The first gen one was 2001, 2004. That got some mileage, but we were still using lead acid for the most part. I think some cars, we had the first generation Tesla in 2007, and that was a roadster version at 50 to 120 miles, but the electric.
Didn't even get that.
We get to the 15s, 2015, 2014, somewhere in there, okay? And we're already at hybrids everywhere. We're seeing, and Tesla's on the roads. We're seeing miles of
hybrid's different though. Hybrid's a better technology.
But it's battery technology.
It's both.
What I'm saying is for this this topic that just like 30 seconds, I'm talking about just the battery technology, where we've gone in the last 20 something years. Okay. If you're looking at like in say the teens, we've got the hybrid technology increased with their batteries in there. We had Tesla start coming, and now you've gone from 100-ish miles. Now you got 300 to even 500 miles, what they're claiming.
Nope.
No,
there's not one out there that goes 500 miles.
Okay. Well,
not quite yet.
Okay.
Even Tesla
the ones that
dual
claim
motor
320, you're lucky to get 280.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's under ideal, perfect tailwind conditions.
What I'm saying is every 10 years, it looks like we're doubling the mileage that we can get out of them.
That doesn't change the infrastructure.
Yeah.
So do you know what Moore's Law is?
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at, and that's what I was hinting at.
Moore's Law pertains to computer chips, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yep.
And the theory behind it was it takes transistors to move the zeros and ones around, right? And over time, what we were seeing was the amount of transistors on a single chip skyrocket.
Exponentially.
Yeah.
Right.
But once it gets to a certain level, you see the inverse happen, where the more you try, the slower it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you're going to see the same thing with cars.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that the battery technology is going to get better. There are scientists out there are brilliant.
Yeah.
But we still need an infrastructure
that
we don't have.
Correct. But right now, your question was originally it
morphed.
Yeah, is the electric car or becoming the next muscle car, or the muscle car is becoming the next electric car?
No, does it ruin the muscle car revolution?
Does it ruin the muscle car revolution? Because they're calling it the e-muscle or something like that. Dodge is trying to trademark that.
Dodge is doing that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's...
So I think it should be a different question. So
does the EV revolution ruin muscle cars?
Because technically...
And I'm not opposed to the electrics in cars. I mean, it boosts horsepower. It gets better fuel economy and all that stuff. There's some great technology. We did change the conversation there by debating whether we have the infrastructure for it, which we don't and won't have for a long time.
Yep.
That is a mechanical installation that needs to happen. Billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of infrastructure that we don't have and can't afford.
Yep.
Okay. Beside that, does Does it harm muscle cars?
Our first thing needs to be what counts as a muscle car, because it used to be was a car built in America, and you can't say anymore. You got Tesla, you got Rivian. I mean, technically, we got like some BMWs being built in America.
So
Do you consider a Tesla and a Rivian a muscle car?
No, but if we can't, like how Dodge is building the muscle cars.
Well,
I mean, would that
Corvette's putting electric in theirs
the
too.
E-Ray?
But
I mean,
those are high-end supercars,
Yeah.
not necessarily muscle cars. Muscle cars, to me, were like 70s and 80s. 80s is maybe bad because they went
60s
through,
even.
60s through early 80s because they went through, the economic downturn and they had to tighten up regulations and fuel economy and all,
put smog
EPA,
shit on there.
the smog shit. It really choked it down. It came back around, and even today they're building cars that have, not only good EPA standards, but high horsepower.
I mean, look at the Hellcat.
Those are still muscle cars.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I consider a muscle car. Something, with a high output, internal combustion. I mean, it can be combined with an electric motor, but most of the stuff that does that now is not muscle car status. It's more of a supercar.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's tough to say because I'd normally say front engine, rear wheel drive needs to be made in America. And you can't even say that. That would be a Viper is a muscle car. It means a Corvette's a muscle car. It means a Ford GT. Well, I guess that's mid-engine.
How are those not?
Technically, I think a Dodge Viper is considered a muscle car.
Absolutely. I would think.
I don't know. I feel that's more of a supercar.
Oh, it might be drawing that fine line. I don't think it's a supercar.
And that's the thing. Is can a muscle car be
close?
Can a muscle car cut that boundary and be both?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. And maybe that's the car that does.
So
it.
if that can be both, then why can't say like a new Charger that's EV that's coming out? Why can't that be a muscle car? Or here's a better question, because with muscle cars we assume it's a V8 powered, right? Dodge is getting rid of all their V8s. All the new Chargers being built, if they're not electric, will come with an inline straight six twin turbo.
Yeah. Ford did that too, right?
Yep.
And is that going to be considered a muscle car?
They still
went
make
V6,
They
right?
still make V8s.
Yeah,
but this is an inline six. Like,
I consider
inline six is
not necessarily, but
they're better balanced, right?
yeah, but would you consider that a muscle car? Say if Dodge continues and say they drop the EV completely. Well, the base model one they're having, I think, is like at 485 horses.
Okay, that's not bad from the factory.
The other thing, there's a rumor, quote unquote rumor, and I use this speculatively. It said on Road and Track that they have a new demon coming out because apparently right now it's supposed to go entry level is the combustion engine for the Charger. That the Hellcat replacement is the all electric bad boy, which makes about 1,000 foot-pounds of torque or so, 1,000 horsepower. But rumor is that Dodge is making from factory, you can buy 1,500 horsepower Charger, but it's going to be using the inline six and it's going to be turboed. And so that's interesting because now you're getting a lot of horses, essentially like a tuner engine. Whether they're inline six, maybe a BMW having that.
It still has muscle
Ford
car
has
history.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Mopar stuff, notoriously muscle car, just like early Ford, Chevy, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're
just because it's a 6-cylinder, but if it's making 1,500 horsepower, that's pretty muscly.
Yeah. I mean, Ford has the Ford Barra motor, which is an inline 6-cylinder that pushes horsepower like that.
My problem with this with the 6-cylinder, don't matter what it is, it just doesn't sound like a rumbly V8.
It doesn't. No. Right.
But, and that's the thing is like a muscle car to me, it sounds mean. It sounds bad.
Agreed.
Even just sitting there idling, if you have let's just say a Viper, they're pretty mellow at a low idle, but you still hear that going with them. And then when you put a hotter cam in them, wow, they sound crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got a balanced straight six, I don't know if here's a better one. Do you consider right now the 4-cylinder EcoBoost Mustang or any of the Eco cars, whether it be Dodge with the Challenger or the Camaro with the 4-cylinder, are those considered muscle cars? Because I would say there's new generations who would consider them muscle cars. I don't think they're a muscle car.
I would not. I don't.
Yeah.
No. Put a V8 in it.
Yeah. So then why would the straight six not be considered one?
Yeah.
You can make an EcoBoost Mustang and you could tune them to well over 400 horses, 500 horses with just a tune and the exhaust. Yeah. I mean, that makes.
I think the original Unicorn had 1,000 horsepower.
It did. It used the Chevy motor, the LS motor.
No.
That was an LS twin turbo.
It was twin turbo though, wasn't it?
It was a twin turboed EcoBoost.
Yeah. It was.
And I think the
It
second
was an EcoBoost?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the second generation is a twin turbo EcoBoost, but it's pushing 1500 or something.
I'm not a turbo fan, or I like normally aspirated.
Naturally
Normally
aspirated,
aspirated power.
So
Yeah.
I guess
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Whatever. It doesn't mean anything, but it's just what I like.
but what ultimately comes down to, first we have to agree on what is a muscle car. And then the second part is that
the hot debate.
yeah, well that's the topic you brought up. And then
know.
the second thing is like, is the electric cars going to classify as that muscle car?
No, I didn't say if it was going to classify. I said it's going to ruin it.
Well, ruin it. Well, if it is going to ruin it, it means it's part of it. So it's part classified.
Yeah.
So we have to come up with a definition first. What is a muscle car? And if we're still saying there's muscle cars out there, then it can't be
V8
six.
normally aspirated power.
Then what about the Hellcat? The Hellcat's supercharged. You got also the GT500s. Those are supercharged
You
too.
asked me to define it.
I know. Well, that
I defined it. What do you want?
Okay, so you think it's... How about this? Would you agree it just... I was going to say V8, but I don't know. Jeremy, what would you say? What do you think? What's considered a muscle car?
So
Jeremy's
that's an
losing his
interesting that's an interesting one because honestly, I think what a muscle car really comes down to in definition is American made, high horsepower, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you look back at the 60s and 70s when muscle cars were in their heyday, they were all V8s. None of them were turboed.
They weren't necessarily high horsepower.
And they weren't necessarily high horsepower, but they
were
did
for the
have
day.
They did have big motors,
They
though,
did.
right?
For the day, they were high horsepower. I don't know what a 429 put out. Probably only like 450
Right.
horsepower.
Maybe.
Probably. If they put a good cam in it and cleaned up the carburetor and that kind of stuff. But
American car companies are really good at making big motors with low horsepower.
yeah. I mean, they figured it out over time, but back in the 70s, right? They just put more displacement at it. That's how they made more horsepower.
No
Fix your
replacement
mic.
for
I think
displacement.
that's ridiculous.
This is getting absolutely ridiculous.
Jeremy's leaning towards the floor because his mic keeps slipping down. Can't figure this out.
I thought this thing was going to be good, but it's not. I'm going to go in a little.
Okay.
Sorry,
Well,
listener.
while you're doing that, I'm Googling right now what the actual definition of a muscle car is.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's
Let's
kind of
stop debating that.
First thing
It's an
says...
open topic.
First thing that Wikipedia says, a group of American-made two-door sports coupes with powerful engines designed for high-performance driving. I'm trying to find Webster's dictionary and haven't been able to find that one.
You probably won't see it.
Oh, here we go.
Webster's
Was that
dictionary.
Here we go.
Wikipedia that you
Any
found?
group of American... This is from, how do you say... Meridian
Miriam?
Webster. Yeah.
Merriam-Webster.
.com, which is the official dictionary website, whatever. Muscle car, noun. Any group of American-made two-door sports coupes with powerful engines designed for high-performance driving. It's the same thing as what Wikipedia said.
Well, so it doesn't define...
First known
engine
use
size
of
as
muscle car was in
powerful.
No, it doesn't.
1966.
I waffle a little bit on the straight sixes, V6s, whatever, because they can put out pretty decent power. They may not really sound like a V8, with a good cam in it, but
let's run for two-door.
Okay.
I think that's important.
Hold on. Let's go back to this.
Okay.
We're talking about definition.
Yeah.
So by definition, it says engine. Right?
No.
Performance
it didn't.
engine.
It said there's powerful engines designed for high-performance driving.
Powerful engines designed for performance driving. So that rules out electric cars as being on the list for muscle cars.
love it. I'm in.
Okay.
And do you know why, Grant?
Why?
Because an engine is gasoline powered and a motor is DC powered
That's true on that one.
or electric powered. Yeah.
Let's see. Electric muscle car. This is from Dodge. The Charger will remain as true title, the world's quickest and most powerful muscle car. LED led by the all-new, all-electric 2024 Dodge Charger. Daytona Scat Pack delivers 670 horses, 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds, blah, 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 blah.
So just
a sales pitch.
just because they call it just because they call it a muscle car does not mean that they meet the definition for muscle car.
All right. So if we're going with our definition saying it needs an engine, not a motor, an engine.
internal combustion.
So then there should be, the debate's over. Then electric cars are not ruining muscle cars.
But
I do.
Now wait a minute.
Yeah, what?
That wasn't the question.
Okay.
Is it ruining muscle cars? So I think what you're going to see is more and more of those muscle cars are probably going to go to museum type situations as things, progress further into the future. I think you'll still see some in people's garages, but the value is going to go up.
Well, yeah, the value is going to go sky high, and there's going to be a lot more people restoring those cars because of the value.
That's true.
You're going to see a lot of graveyard cars coming back to life.
I guarantee you, probably one of the most expensive cars that will be restored in, say, like next 40 years and holds value is going to be anything with a Hellcat.
I mean, I don't know about
anything Dodge is just expensive.
They are
anyway.
Yeah,
but I'm saying
they have such a following. It's crazy. But
yeah.
So I think the other thing you're going to see is the tuner culture is going to change, and I would say the tuner culture isn't going to get ruined either, but it's going to change, right? You're going to see more people start doing projects either where they're rebuilding a car that used to have an engine and they're going to put electric motors in them.
That's what people are doing now.
You're going to see people upgrade the motors in like Teslas and stuff like that to be faster.
I think it was at the Portland Auto Show this year, and there was a company in Portland that was electrifying car swaps. In fact,
I've seen that.
It was blasphemy, in my opinion. They had swapped
but
AC Cobra. Cobra to electric?
Yeah. It goes both ways. I've seen Camaros done that way. I've seen Mustangs turned into electric. Whatever. Good for them. That's their project. I'm not against what they're doing. They can do that all day long. I don't care. But when I'm driving by the electric station and they're stuck there charging their car for 45 minutes, I'm going to laugh.
Right.
But I think what we'll see with more of the, with any of the communities, once electric motors get cheap enough where it's like, pick up an electric motor for $500 and fully install it for say like $1,000, $2,000 with just whatever you can find around like a junkyard or a used or Napa or whatever. When it gets to that level, I think we're going to see a lot more swaps happen, or at least hybrid type swaps happen.
I don't know if we'll see a lot more. I think there's still going to be a large demand for internal combustion.
I think so too.
Yeah. There'll just be a lot more rebuilding going on. And electric is fast. Instant torque and all that. I get it. And I don't necessarily.
And you can make them direct.
It's not really for me, whatever, but I don't know.
It might be someday though. I wouldn't rule it out yet.
I'm not saying it'll never happen.
Yeah.
I think a good merger is a hybrid tech. Having your gas engines, your diesel engine, whatever, with an electric assist, I think that's
I agree.
fantastic.
For your everyday driver and for towing, cool. I would love to have electric assist.
Yeah, but even racing, because then around the corners, you have, even if it's not the most powerful electric motors, say you have your two front wheels that are they electric driven, and then your rear wheels are from your gas.
They already have that.
NSX does that, yeah.
But I'm saying having that where you can swap and mod into more cars. Mm-hmm. Say you have a Dodge Charger and you want to swap in, the front wheels where it's two electric motors go into that, or say a Mustang and want to have it. So now more horsepower, it helps in the cornering.
Yeah.
Or the opposite. You have a Toyota, not Toyota, like a Honda Civic. The engine's up front with turbo and the back wheels are now powered by like a Tesla motor. All-wheel drive now. Instant acceleration off the front.
And it weighs 5,000 pounds more.
Well, no, you don't need to have a huge battery onto it. I mean, I bet you can get that for 1,000, 1,200 pounds with a small battery, like kind of like an F1 car, have a curve system installed into it. It doesn't need to be something going.
Yeah. You know whose electric motor makes me really excited right now?
Who?
McLaren. McLaren has a 30-pound electric motor.
Really?
That will push 300 plus horsepower.
I thought it was Koenigsegg.
Oh, it might be Koenigsegg.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's based on the two different motor theories, right? Mm-hmm. Brushless and magnet. So it's got both types.
Yeah.
It's 30 pounds and it'll push 300 horsepower.
That's ridiculous. Right. I mean, think of like how light of a car you can make now with something like that.
Dude, imagine
it's not the motors that are heavy, it's the batteries.
Yeah. Imagine putting 200 pounds of motors in your car, in your Fiat, and a 300 horsepower motor.
Yeah, that'd be bonkers.
Right?
That'd be absolutely bonkers.
and how much weight in batteries. I'm still coming
Right.
back.
It'd be a couple 100 pounds.
But
of
remember,
batteries. I mean,
as
Now you've got 3 Grants sitting in the back seat and one driving.
that is true. But remember, as we go on in years, batteries are going to get lighter and cheaper and more affordable, easier access.
We'll see.
I mean, think about this.
I don't buy it.
Look at the 90s, the old brick phone. Well, you had to charge that thing. And now it's like something that size would keep you alive for weeks.
And-
if a battery are the same size.
and most tracks still won't allow them.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's a big thing. That's a whole different thing.
Not yet.
That should be another thing is when electric cars, if an electric car world starts becoming more electrified, right? And say we start seeing a lot more at the track, what's it going to take for tracks to start having safety features involved in it to
That's a problem.
accommodate them?
Fighting a battery fire is.
Oh yeah, it's no joke.
Yeah,
It's not easy. And right now there's clubs who
learned
can't allow. Yeah. There's the clubs that won't allow. Certain electric vehicles in because they don't have the way to extinguish those fires.
Our clubs, neither of our clubs, you can run
Yeah.
electric because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't run it at PIR because of that.
Yeah.
So what did we learn last year?
It wasn't last year.
Yes, it
Was
was.
it last year?
Yeah.
Oh.
What did we learn last year at ORP?
Campfires with built-in speakers have don't like fire.
Well, I don't think the fire actually caused that. I think the charging and discharging constantly
Of the
is what
lithium-ion battery.
actually exploded that battery.
Yeah, I think so too.
But that battery, the fire would not go out, Rob.
No, it
No, I
wouldn't.
don't know.
And it was small.
Yeah.
It was a small battery.
And we
Yeah.
doused in water and
Lithium.
left it in a bucket for days. Yeah, like
We ended up learning that you have to submerge it in water
for about 7 days or so.
Out.
Yeah.
It did finally go out, but it was sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of hazards with those things more than just disposal. Yeah,
Mhm.
But I think
pretty gnarly.
I think that tuner culture, that electric modification culture, is going to
It's out there.
increase, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. As it gets cheaper, I can see it increasing. There's a lot of people that like it and want to play with the technology and stuff, but there's so many drawbacks to it.
I think
it's. I don't know.
I think the coolest electric modification I've seen was from a SEMA show. Like this is, I want to say this was pre-COVID because everything shut down those next couple of years between them. But it was a wheel that you would add to any hub to any existing vehicle, and it would have an electric motor attached to it. So you can make a rear-wheel drive, change your front wheels to it. It had it so that way it added like, it wasn't a lot. It was like only 80 horses per wheel or 100 horses per wheel or so. But it was lightweight enough where how it drove the wheel was like a gear system on the outside or the inside of the wheel. So that way you can have a little more sitting at the top, and it could be adapted to everything. To front engine, rear wheel, or front wheel drive. Now you have rear wheel drive onto it.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of places that are working on that technology to be able to adapt it to any car. So you get better fuel.
I mean,
economy.
honestly,
And that's really cool.
Yeah.
Especially for your commuter car and that kind of stuff. And everybody wants to save on fuel.
like imagine throwing that in an
expensive.
excursion.
Well,
You go 7 miles a gallon to 7.5 now. That's a huge change.
7.5. Man, I can't believe what I'm saving, and it only cost me $5,000 to do it. It's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's
$15,000.
There's the
I
other
don't know what it
side to
costs.
think about this is too. When electric motors start getting swapped in more and more muscle cars or any kind of car for that matter that never had originally, now you have a whole new style of driving because you have regenerative braking. So you can be literally having front braking with your foot, having regeneration braking, having it a whole different weight distribution. Your front brakes are 30%, your rear brakes are locking up even more. What's it called? You know what I'm talking about? There's a word for it. I can't remember.
I know. I drew that blank last week.
Yeah, no, and I remembered it today. That's exactly what came back. A strainer valve? No, there was something valve with your brakes.
Proportion
valve.
Yeah.
There you go, portioning valve. But you can distribute your braking with something like that, and it's a whole different style of driving you'd have.
Yeah.
Using
not
regenerative
necessarily
braking.
good, but yeah.
No, not necessarily, but different. And imagine the ways people could try to figure out how to use it.
Yeah.
Say a drifting application. You're driving and lock up the wheels that way. There you go. Perfect. Now you don't need your e-brake. You have a little switch you flick.
Can't wait to see the drifters
Oh, yeah.
with electric cars. It'll be so fun.
It'll be quiet.
Yeah.
Well, we've kind of seen it already.
I'm sure.
All-wheel drive
Yeah.
in a Audi.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was on the streets of Las Vegas, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been Mr. Ken Block.
Oh, that was electric, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
I do remember seeing that. That
Yeah,
was
it's an
pretty badass.
e-tron,
Something like that.
something like that.
Okay.
Dude, if you haven't seen that video, go watch it.
Was it Audi? No, it's Ford based because he's Ford sponsored.
No. He
Ford-sponsored.
was Ford sponsored up until the last year, and he transitioned away from Ford after like 14 years or something like that.
He's going back to
And,
Google.
Talk amongst yourselves. And
Yeah,
we'll look it up.
it was a Audi that he went to.
Okay. I'll have to look up that video later. Listeners, join me. Watch that video.
Yeah, it's a cool video. If you've never seen it, I would definitely go watch it.
I have a feeling I have seen it, but I can't remember.
Electricana.
Electricana.
And what was it?
I'm trying to find out.
Ooh, I think it's based on one of the old two-door Audi coupes.
One of the old two-door rally cars.
Huh.
I see a picture of it, but I don't.
It's a freaking cool car.
Audi S1 Hunatron.
Yep.
Hunatron.
That's a cool name.
I can't wait
Okay,
to
listener,
see.
look up the Hunatron. That is
Flip
not
back
the
here.
one I was thinking.
Let me see.
Thinking of.
Oh, wow. That's a cool car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's
It's got a
badass.
listener,
not
it's
the
got
one
a
I saw
giant
for
chin and a big wing
Las
on it.
Vegas. That's not the one.
Is
that the one you
yeah,
think? You were
that's the
thinking
one
of?
the one he was driving in Vegas.
Yeah, that thing is very futuristic.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I can't wait to see his daughter drive it.
What cars do you think, like name wise, would make a really good electric car?
Name wise?
Like the Ford Lightning. That was awesome.
The Ford Lightning
that
was
makes
a gas. That's the car it was based
Yeah,
on.
Oh, that's
the
really
one I was
cool.
looking at. Yeah.
Nice.
Ford Lightning is a perfect name for an electric,
Yeah.
but it was not it was a gas
Pickup.
pickup
Yeah.
before.
Originally, yeah.
And
What about,
I don't
isn't there the
remember when it went
Thunderbolt
back to-
or something like that from back in the 50s?
Thunderstruck.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's something else.
That's a song.
Yeah. The Ford Thunderbolt, I think, is what the key. Or the Ford.
There's a Thunderbird.
Or the Thunderbird. Like, that's the thing is, Ford's got a lot of potential and some good electric names. But, like, who else has got something that'd be good to run? I mean, does Chevy got any names?
Volt.
Well,
Okay, they
that's
got the
already
Volt.
that's already an electric car.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what he asked.
Yeah.
I know. Corvair? Nah.
I think they have a Bolt
Corvair
too.
wasn't electric.
Javelin?
I would not mind having a Corvair, though.
Same. I think it'd be a fun vehicle to drive.
Right.
There's got to be others.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Can you think of any names that'd be really good that right now, if a company was to produce it, we just unveiled the new, let's say, Javelin, and that was electric. I mean, I could kind of see that being an electric car, at least by name. I'm not talking, I mean, by the thing. What do you think, Rob? Can you think of any?
I'm busy looking up the Corvair.
Yeah, I
busy looking
I got
Corvair.
sidetracked.
Yeah.
Because didn't the Corvair, totally off topic of
Okay.
the electrics, right?
Okay.
Which I wanted to dump that topic. I'm done with it.
All right.
Didn't they have a 12-cylinder in?
Did they really? I know they had
I
the flat
thought-
6.
Yeah, I thought there was a version of it that had a 12.
The Corvair.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That would be cool. Flat
I could be
plane
way
crank.
wrong.
Or
but
not flat plane,
it
flat,
seems
flat
like
12.
there was, and I'm drawing a striking out here on the Google search. But
Interesting.
Yeah, it would have been nice if
keep
we kept
looking.
with the flat engines though for America. Like that was like right in the 60s when they started making them. You got the Porsches coming out with that. You got Chevy trying that. You know.
Yeah, the flat 4s, flat 6s.
Yeah. You know.
all right, so yeah, I'm done with electrics. There's just
You
far
done
too
with
much.
electrics,
I'm
Jeremy?
so done with it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we're going to come back around to it at some point, right?
I've got a future guest that is deep into electric motor stuff. And
Okay.
it will come back up.
That's
I'm
awesome.
excited to hear
Yeah,
that.
that would be exciting.
Yeah.
So-
he is freaking brilliant.
So moving on next topic. How many listeners do we have left? Listener.
One.
Just one.
After that, they're
They
like,
tuned
electric, run away.
Yeah, they tuned out.
Well, that
shoot.
was fun.
All right.
Eject.
We'll have to, we'll cut it all
We'll
off.
put in the description, jump to this point.
Yeah, exactly.
What do we name
Jump
this
to
one?
12 minutes in.
Exactly.
All right. Another hot topic.
Okay.
Really,
Here we go.
really. Okay.
Grant shirtless, you're right.
What? There will be video. What car?
God, put that
What
away.
car could a Ford and a Chevy guy agree on?
Oh, God.
Tough one.
I mean, we've
That's
talked
tough
about
one.
it already.
Have we?
Yeah, the Ford GT.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe the Chevy guy's like, hell no.
Because they're jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't have to
What
be.
could a
it
Ford and a
doesn't
Chevy
have-
guy-
Yeah, yeah. See,
what
it
could a
doesn't
Ford and
have to
Chevy
be-
guy agree on?
It doesn't have to be a
It doesn't
Ford
have to be
or a
one or
Chevy.
the other.
It could be a Volkswagen. Maybe they both like
Really?
Volkswagen.
I
bikes.
was okay. If we're going that way, the topic. I was thinking for the topic of like what each manufacturer makes, Ford makes, and Chevy makes. Like what car they can
No.
agree on is
Yeah.
a decent car or a vehicle.
Nah, which one?
See,
Which
Like
one
you're
whips
not
their
going to
ass?
convince. You're not going to convince a Chevy guy that a
could go-
F-150
you'll
is
like
better
this.
than a 1500.
You'll-
Right.
I could go both ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
There you go.
probably.
Oh gosh.
Oh, what's one that
It's okay.
Ford
My
and
mom's
Chevy
not
could
listening
be?
to this show. See, I drive a Ford truck and
That's
I
a
drive a
hard
Chevy
one.
car.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But which do you love better
I know.
to drive? Like if you were,
Depends. I can't tow my trailer with my Chevy car.
here's a question. Did you buy your Ford because that's exactly what you wanted? Or if you had the choice for the same price of money that you paid for your Ford, a 2500 brand new Chevy, would you have taken that?
3,500.
I
3,500.
bought my truck because that's exactly what I wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick that over the Ford?
Chevy.
Chevy. Why'd you pick the Ford over the Chevy?
Because I have had a lot of Ford trucks. And
Okay.
I just trust them.
Okay.
Yeah. I just like it.
Okay.
You're
I
not
do
brand
like.
loyal.
I'm not super brand loyal. I've had a Dodge pickup before too. I would not have another one of those just for quality.
With the Cummins.
Yeah. The Cummins is a good motor, but the rest of the truck is iffy.
Yeah, the rest of it was the issue. It wasn't. Yeah. So I've seen like the new GMC Denali truck is gorgeous.
Yes.
It is a gorgeous
Yes.
truck. I would drive one of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks alone.
No.
Now hold on.
can't.
Hold on.
Okay.
Looks alone. I
Yeah.
think it's a great looking truck. I don't know anything about its motor, running gear package.
Oh no, that I'll agree with you. Here's the thing: is my old man goes through GMCs and Chevys surprisingly,
Okay.
and I really think him switching over. I think is what 2022 or 2024 now. I don't like that truck. It's
So-
it's because the previous gen Suburbans and the GMCs, in my opinion, had the way better interior. The engines and performance, both trucks, no matter what, fantastic. You can't get better in an SUV than a 6.2 liter. With the air suspension they got into them, the Magna Ride,
So that's the gas motor.
that's the gas motor.
So if you're going diesel,
Mm-hmm.
that 6.6 Duramax is a pretty good motor, and it's got
Is
an
it?
Allison behind it.
Is it
Yeah.
better than the 6.7?
Well,
Come on, the 6.7 makes
I-
more power.
I will
it gets
give you
better
this.
fuel economy. It has more towing capacity.
I'll give you that.
What are you
It
going to give me
does.
that beats it out of that?
But let's go back to the original Duramax when it came out.
Oh no, we're okay. So we're talking original. We're not talking new
No,
ones.
no, no.
Okay.
We're going to talk about all of them.
Okay.
But if we go back to the original Duramax,
Okay.
why was that truck so good and why was it so popular?
But you're going to tell me the original Duramax was better than the original Ford 7.3 liter.
Yes.
Okay.
And here's why. Not
Wait, when did-
because,
when did the
not
original
because-
Duramax come out?
Oh, God. What year was that?
Rob, do you know?
Early 2000s?
So that came after the Power Stroke died.
No, well, the Power Stroke was still around, right? I mean,
Power
it's still
Stroke
around.
died in 2001. That was when Ford last produced them.
No.
Or 2002. Because that's
2003 and a half, I think, was when they pulled the 7.3 out and put the 6.0 in.
you know, I think you're right. Yeah.
And
yeah,
here-
actually right.
Here's why the Duramax was more gained in popularity.
Okay.
They put 10 of them on a track and they drove them to 400,000 miles.
Okay.
At 400,000 miles, one of them died.
Mm-hmm.
One.
Okay. So you put a million Fords with the 7.3, and how many made it past 500,000 miles and haven't
I
died?
don't-
All of them.
No, I
The
disagree with that.
7.3 just keeps
All right,
going.
you guys got totally sidetracked. I let you do it because I was looking up the Corvair
I know.
V12.
Okay.
But
What was our topic?
what can a Ford and Chevy guy agree on?
Oh, yeah.
What car?
Apparently not engines.
Or
That's for
multiple
damn sure.
cars.
Here we, well, and I'm a Ford guy. And we're
Yeah,
arguing
and
about
you're
the
arguing
Duramax.
for Duramax for crying out loud.
I know. I'm devil's advocate here, okay?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
you devil.
I never did answer.
Okay. Here's the
Ford-
thing. I
Ford GT.
would really find it hard for a Ford guy or a Chevy guy to, not for a car, but to disagree that the Cummins is one of the best engines built. Any of the diesel Cummins.
I do like the diesel.
They're really good. They're bulletproof motors.
Yeah, that's not a car.
I know, but I'm saying that's
Dodge
that's
doesn't
first
build
you
it,
could start.
though.
No, they don't.
Dodge does not build that.
You know,
They put it in a Dodge truck that falls apart. The motor's still running.
They're
but the
actually
truck itself fell apart.
They're in 2
Nissans.
trucks now because they're in the Nissan Titan now.
well,
Yeah.
are they still in the Nissans? I thought they lost the contract for that.
Maybe.
But I mean,
if they did, it was
here's the
short-lived.
thing: is like, would you buy a Nissan truck? I get you could the Cummins in it, but I mean, the Nissan behind it. Then I mean,
it's not the same Cummins either.
yeah.
Because Cummins has multiple different sizes and all that. But anyway,
Okay.
um,
What would a Chevy and a Ford guy agree on?
obviously,
Dodge. you would. Yeah,
nah.
No.
I know. Like, well, because there's a lot of people like say
A Ferrari?
no.
We're
That'd be
going to
something
have to
people hate.
find a diehard Chevy guy to come
know,
in here and
right?
argue with you guys.
Just us.
I think I know a couple.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit back and watch.
Let's
Throw
put
boxing gloves at you.
We'll have to
and
put a
let you
pin
get
in this
after it.
topic. I guarantee if we go to the event coming up and we just
Okay,
say who's the most
listener.
diehard Chevy guy.
Listeners, we have 9 followers on Spotify. One of you email us and tell us what a Ford and a Chevy guy can agree on.
Yeah. Tell us we're idiots.
I think it's
fine.
I think
Untitled
Jeremy
Car
hit it
Project
at the
at
very
gmail.com.
beginning. I think the Ford GT
I
would-
think that's a decent
compromise.
yes. Yeah.
I don't think they could argue about the Corvette either.
Oh yeah, a lot of people can.
Well,
Could they?
yeah,
Because the Corvette will
because
shit all over a Mustang.
no, because that's
potentially. So if the
Yeah.
Ford guy is all about the Mustang,
Yeah.
he's going to think it can beat a Corvette every day of the week.
yeah.
But they
They'll say-
can't.
He's wrong.
Yeah.
But he's going to think it can. And so that's going to be your argument. And quite possibly.
Grant's face
know.
is turning red.
Don't even start.
Quite possibly the Corvette guy is going to be the same way,
Right.
right?
They're gonna tell you the LS motor is better than the 5.0 because
Well, it
it's
is.
more reliable and blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
then,
Cheaper.
you know,
more
and then we're gonna
reliable,
talk
higher
about
power.
price. Be like, oh yeah, well I can't buy a Corvette for 100,000, but I could buy a Mustang for 20,000. That's got more horses per bang for buck. And then you'll be like,
it
well, I can
weighs
still get a
1,500
6-speed
pounds
manual,
more, and it's slower.
you know.
Oh
Here's,
man,
actually,
I can see
no,
the vein in
no,
his head
legit,
throbbing.
Okay, here's a legit side by side comparison.
Okay.
Because we even had a guest talk about this. You buy a GT350R when it came out, and you tell me that a Corvette would be doing the same track times, lap time, everything as the GT350R, bang for buck price.
Z06 versus
Mine will.
GT350R.
Mine will.
What?
Mine
Bone
beat-
stock to
mine will
bone
beat that
stock.
car.
Bone stock to bone stock.
Bone stock?
Bone stock.
No way.
Yes, it will.
No way.
I bet it would.
Yes, it will.
A bone stock Z06?
Yeah,
My
I
car
bet it-
will
I
beat
bet it
that
would.
car.
Well, your
No,
car,
no,
but we're saying
It's bone stock.
that engine's not bone stock.
Yeah.
The engine's bone stock. I bet you there's just
I
suspension.
mean, it's had the heads done, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
only for reliability.
Okay.
Sorry.
I know.
Sorry.
Grant, why do you think I keep trying to talk you into a Corvette?
Because you hate me.
No, I keep trying to talk
Because
you
it's a great
into the
platform.
platform
I
because
know
I
it's a
think you
good
would.
no, and I know
Now
it's a good
listen,
platform.
I am not against Ford Mustangs. I love Josh's car. That 350R is
Yeah.
amazing. I've driven it a couple of times, but every time I drive it, it breaks.
I love Liger.
But
Liger's fun to
It's-
drive.
it's very responsive. It's very
They're
planted.
heavy.
They are heavy.
I know they're heavy.
They are heavy.
Yeah.
His car, even though that platform is heavy, his car feels pretty light. It's nimble.
His is like you want to know
I have not
nuts?
driven
His is
yours,
like oh yeah, you need to
But
drive
the-
Liger.
but I've
like-
driven one. I've driven a 2016.
Rob, I will put money down. Say you drive in Liger and just say I would say more than one lap, like 3 laps.
Mm-hmm.
I would be shocked if A, you didn't find it fun, and B, you'd be way more surprised than what you think the car could do. I've put multiple people in the
No,
car
I-
thinking it'd be like, oh, it's a Mustang, does
You've
this.
done a lot of work to your car.
But it throws people off because of like the capabilities that car has been built to have. It's just like it shouldn't turn like this. It should not brake like this.
Again-
but it is.
Again, you've done a lot of work to that car. It's
Yeah.
not stock.
Yeah.
So I've driven a 2016 GT,
Yeah.
Ford GT, just the standard 5-liter.
Yeah,
And the thing is a pig.
I agree.
It's heavy as hell.
Hands down, agree.
Very slow. A lot of body roll.
Agree. which is crazy because like it doesn't take a lot of mods to get it to handle well.
The guy that I drove his car was modded. He did suspension. He did the coilovers, all that stuff, and it was still a pig. Still had a lot of body.
Okay. I was going to say the Ford Performance Pack 2 or whatever with the 305s and with the Magnerized suspension, those Mustangs are pretty dialed in. And that's just a package you get. Not, you don't have to do mod, but if you're buying, like, say, like, as I've even driven, like, one, which is the rental ones. 5.0 V8, those are just dogs because they're just base model everything.
You're talking about the 302, not the 305.
No, 305 wide.
Ford's a 302, isn't it?
I'm talking about wheels.
Oh,
wide wheels.
Okay.
305 wide wheels it comes with and suspension,
Copy that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were talking about the motor.
No, the motor's a 302.
Yeah.
I love how they label the Boss 302. Mm-hmm. Boss 302 is literally a 5.0 motor.
Ooh. Important. Actually, speaking of that, so I had a Ford sales rep talking to me today. We were talking about cars and we were talking about Mustang and showing it. He goes, you know what engine would work for this more than anything else, which would go into your Mustang rather than the 3-valve you have here? I'm like, what? He goes, they made the Boss 302 and everyone knows about the Boss 302. He said there's an engine that's not well known about that you should be considering putting in your Mustang. I go, what is it? He goes, in the Boss 302 Laguna Secas, they put in what's called the 302 Roadrunner motor. He said it's a completely different motor. And he said that if you like running high RPM and stuff, and that's where you make your power and stuff, he said that is what you should put in your car. And so that's something I'm going to have to look up.
Yeah,
I don't know much about it, but I always thought because the Coyote and the Roadrunner I always assumed was like a Mopar thing. I never knew that.
The Ford original Roadrunner, was it a 442?
440. 440 6-pack.
Yeah.
You know, but having Ford actually have one called a Roadrunner, that's wild.
Well, see, the Mopar Roadrunner was the nickname of the car.
Mm-hmm. Meep, meep.
Wow, that was good. Thank you. That was impressive. Anywho, so what vintage is that motor?
The one I was just talking about?
Yeah.
Like 2013.
Really?
Yeah, it's a new motor.
Oh, wow.
And that's what kind of threw me for a loop. He told me it was in like 2004 or 2005, but when I Googled it, no, it came out at the same time as the new Boss 302 when it came out, which was revealed in 2012. This one came out in 2013. So
if it's rare, good luck finding one.
Buy a crate version of that?
Something like that. I mean, I got the Ford website now I can see if I can find it.
He's going to be dangerous.
That's probably $15,000 motor.
No way. It'd probably be like a $40,000 motor.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't buy a Coyote motor from the factory under 18 grand.
Yeah, but do you think it's going to be
if it's
that
rare,
much more?
Yeah, if it's rare.
I'm going to Google it real fast. Let me see what.
Get the Google box out.
Yeah, get the Google
Ford
out.
Boss Roadrunner.
So we struck out on another topic. Didn't figure out what car Chevy and Ford guys can agree on. Just made Grant mad.
Superbird.
I know, right?
I still think it's a Corvette.
That's funny. All right. So while he's Googling his Roadrunner motor.
It's got so much info on this thing. This is great.
Will Jeremy drive autocross this year?
Ooh, at least once.
Woo! Yeah?
Yeah, at least once. Even if it's in Liger.
Yeah.
I want to do the relay race again.
Okay.
That is the best.
Did you sign up?
Not yet.
We need to sign up, Jeremy.
You might need to get on that.
Yeah, if there's...
because it's probably almost full. You just look it up.
Damn it.
Yep.
Wow. Hang on.
And that's it, huh? Just the once?
What?
I don't know. I don't know if I ever talked to you about this. I love coming to the races.
Yeah.
I've never actually been super interested in driving fast. I mean, I like doing it once in a while. But
so you can go out there and you can compete with Antonio.
Yeah, true.
Sorry, Antonio.
Ooh.
You didn't deserve that.
So we lost our last listener. No, I've never been super interested in actually the driving part as much as the coming out and hanging out.
Yeah,
and
just
I love watching racing.
Yeah,
you see me all the time. I sit there in the corner and I am content in my chair.
Jeremy sitting in the corner,
like just sitting there and enjoying it. You know
how hard it is to find a corner at a racetrack to sit in,
right?
Very carefully.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that was just a thought. So even with the Ghost Project, huh?
Yeah.
I think if the Ghost Project runs, you need to drive.
I agree. I think he needs to drive that.
I'll rock it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
All right.
I'll try it once.
or twice or 5 times.
Yeah, whatever.
You know,
Well, that's pretty aggressive.
it'd be interesting
car
to
still
see
doesn't
like
run.
Jeremy behind the wheel of like say even Liger for a season. See how much you'd improve from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be fun.
Yeah,
I'm more apt to do an all-wheel drive car though.
yeah.
You're more apt. Just
I'm
to
more
drive
apt to
whatever's
do-
available.
I'm more apt to do a
give me that.
mid-engine car, but I have a Mustang.
Yeah.
You have a
Okay, I do have 3 mid-engine cars, but still,
They never make it to the track though.
you can push me.
The other question: will Grant do a time trial this year?
That one I'm hoping. That one I'm hoping if we get Liger a little bit more dialed in, then yeah. If not, the Ghost Project car will be for that as well. And I think that'll put some mean times down.
That'll be a good car for a time trial.
Yeah.
That'd be
You
fun.
know what we ought to do is challenge him
Me?
for
This guy?
next year
Oh. Why am I
to
being
get one of those Fiats done and do
Or
a
both.
hill climb.
Oh God, no! I don't want him to die.
Why not? It's 1974. It has boatloads of technology. That'll be enough to survive. The firewall is like maybe like 16th of an inch.
Paper thin.
Yeah, and the gas tank sits right behind the driver's
It's got
seat with the
brickyard
engine behind
technology.
that.
All right.
So when I go off, yeah, I'll just die in a flame.
yeah,
Yeah.
just fireball.
Exactly.
Sure. Sounds amazing.
He does have a V12 sitting in the shop.
I do. I really wanted to put that in one of the Fiats.
I don't think it'll fit in the Fiat, but a
How do you feel about putting that in a GMC pickup truck?
You want it?
That might be pretty cool.
It's if anything, the one thing that's really, what's the word I'm looking for, intrigues me about it is I believe that was either one of the motors or a backup motor, because the guy I bought it from, he would build Jaguars and make them into drag cars.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if this engine has actually been built up, so it's been for like drag racing.
Yeah.
So it may have some hotter cams and some more pistons in. So like it'll
Yeah,
be interesting.
I wonder
really,
about it. Like, what kind of RPM does it turn? What's the horsepower? What's
that'd be cool to have in your truck, having a V12 in it, and then
Really
just
cool.
really cammed up. You
that'd be
know,
really cool.
yeah.
You know what I was telling Grant we needed to do to it, and I'm totally for the truck, but when we put it together, I want to see a single barrel carburetor for every cylinder.
Weber's.
Yeah.
12 Weber carburetors on
That'd
it.
be sick for that
My
V12.
God, what a tuning nightmare.
That wouldn't be too bad.
Wouldn't it? No, it'd be
No, it wouldn't be
fucking
horrible.
awful.
Wouldn't be too bad.
Have you ever
Shut up.
tuned
Have you ever
dual
tuned-
carburetors?
Once,
or a
and it was
six-pack?
terrible.
Absolutely terrible. 12 of them. Try to get them synced up. Forget
You
it.
guys are making me really worried because my Fiat's carbureted.
Well,
But it's a
about
single
one.
carburetor.
You got one.
No, yes, it's a
Yeah,
single carb.
it's a single
Yeah,
carburetor.
it's fine.
Yeah.
You can do one because you don't have to sync them.
Yeah, that's true.
Syncing them's the hard part.
Oh my
right?
gosh, what a nightmare that would be.
Oof.
Don't you just
You
throw
know how
it in?
fun it would be though?
Don't you just throw it into a river and it goes to the bottom?
Oh, it would. It would be your
That'd
boat
E
be the
anchor.
frustration level. Yeah,
Because or does that give you just a sinking feeling?
Trebuchet.
all of the above.
Huck that
Depends
thing
on
out
if you
into a
tied
field.
yourself to it or not.
Yeah,
No, but I mean, if you got it tuned, that thing would be awesome.
oh yeah.
But getting it tuned, you'd have to get
That'd be
it fired
really
up,
hard.
and you'd have to have really good hearing because
Yeah, that would be.
So
You'd have to
why
do that
why
by
would it be
hearing.
so hard? Because you're just trying to get it so it sprays when it's sucking it in, right?
evenly.
yeah.
Okay.
All
So
12 of them
So?
evenly.
Like I'm trying to think. Like,
think of this.
It's not
I
easy.
ain't grew up in the carbureted era.
So think of
Yeah.
this.
So that's why I'm like, you get the nozzles, you just tune them so they all spray the exact same. Okay.
So think of this.
Downdraft
right?
carburetors.
Okay.
What you're trying to do
Okay.
is a couple things, right? You're trying to get each one of those cylinders to fire almost the same amount of fuel
Okay.
every time.
Okay.
You're trying to get them to fire at the same horsepower approximately per cylinder.
The same
And-
amount of air ratio.
Yep, same air, same fuel,
Yeah.
all that stuff, man. It's
It's an art form for sure.
Yeah, I had a buddy who used to be able to tune a carburetor. So in my old 64 Ford, when I would downshift, it would go, whoa, pop, 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 pop.
Yep.
So my buddy's like,
So it'd be
That's-
too rich then.
that's a tune.
Mhm.
You need to tune the carburetor. And I'm like, I've never tuned a carburetor. You know, my grandpa used to try to do it and he'd fuck him up every time.
Mhm.
And he's like, oh, let me do it. So he sat there and worked on it for like 15 minutes while the truck was running. He goes, okay, get in it and drive it. So I get in it and I drive up the road and drive back and downshift, and it's like, whoa, no backfire.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, how'd you do that? And he's like, oh, it's just an air fuel mixture. He did it by ear.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, it's probably the best way to
But
do it.
can't
really.
you? Wouldn't it be easier just to say, well, nowadays, if you could throw like just say a O2 sensor on the end and have a live reading of like air fuel ratio onto it, and then you could just tune it that way? Because then as you adjust one, you could watch the air fuel ratio go more, and you okay, back off. And then
I don't know. I mean, if you could get that into a computer, but those older cars with carburetors, they didn't.
No, I'm not saying it in the computer. You literally just have a thing that says air fuel ratio.
That's what I'm saying. You got to read it on something.
Yeah.
What are you going to read that on?
You have an O2 sensor, and then you just plug it into the computer.
To what? Oh my God.
It doesn't have to be in the car, but like
I understand.
Probably a device you can pull off of it.
I understand what you're trying to say. It's a lot harder than that. I mean, because each carburetor tunes differently. It's not like you can take each one and screw the air screws all the way in and back them out 3 turns, every one.
Isn't that what the manual says?
Each one is going to breathe differently.
Okay.
And say you get some speck of something in one of the injectors or one of the ports.
Okay.
Now you've got number 6 carburetor.
It just sounds like it was
differently.
A bad rebuilt carburetor. Shouldn't it be built so it doesn't have that with new needles into it?
Great, but you're going to fight that. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's a constant battle, and if you're doing 12 of them and trying to sync them up, that is extremely difficult.
Yeah,
extremely difficult. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it wouldn't be cool.
Yeah,
and it would probably sound awesome, but it's probably also not something I want to battle.
Sure, on that one, it'd be interesting to talk to like a old Jaguar or a Ferrari tech or a Lambo tech, because that's what I know they had to do that back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think though with the Ferraris, they only used 3 Weber carburetors for the V12s. I think that's how they spaced them out. But I mean, on those race cars, I mean, they did it was independent per one.
What were on the old 4GT40s, because they had downdraft. And I think they used Webers, but I don't know how many. And those were V8s.
Yeah, I thought it was 1 per 1, wasn't it?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Jeremy, do you know?
I have no idea.
You have the Google in front of you.
You're the Google machine.
You're the Google guy.
You're the Grant Google.
I'm not the Google machine tonight because I forgot my glasses.
How dare you, Jeremy?
I think. I'm pretty sure.
That one I'm not actually positive. I either would guess it'd be a 4-barrel. I think. Yeah, because that used the NASCAR. Well, depends on which engine you're going with. I figured it'd be the NASCAR 427 motor they put in there, or 429 in the Ford GT.
I thought it was a 429.
Okay,
it was a 429.
Yeah.
Well, the Google machine is not. It's just telling me. Let's see. It used multiple different brands, so they used Weber, Holley, and dual quad Hollies.
Oh God, could you imagine having like 4 different brands on the V8?
The MK1 has 4 Weber downdraft carburetors.
Okay, so that's the first one.
One per cylinder.
So that's the
one for every 2 cylinders. Right?
And that's the 289 one.
The Mark IV had dual quad Hollies.
So so that 2 with 4 jets. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
That wouldn't be too bad to tune then, right?
I don't know.
Single carburetor?
Dual
carburetor?
Dual, but they're 4-barrel.
Oof.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I had a hard enough time tuning a 4-barrel carburetor for a V8.
Yeah, you would struggle.
Yeah?
Yeah, you would struggle.
Because you would over-rich it, right? With that much fuel going in?
Well, they split them.
Well, they're not all going to one cylinder.
Yeah, they're split between 4 cylinders. So, yeah. It would be split between... one 4-barrel would do 4. The front 2, and one would do, the front 4 and the back 4. Yeah.
I got a question for you guys. How did we get into carburetors when we're talking about time trials?
Is that what we were talking about? Your V12 came up.
Yeah.
It was my fault.
There you go, Jeremy. How dare you?
I'm sure of it.
Oh, and by the way, the Corvair did not come with a 12. They designed it for one, but it was never produced.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. But yeah, in terms of getting on the big truck, I really would like to do that one of these days. With Liger's the only one I'm like hesitant on, but no, I do want to get back on the track because my car means a lot to me. When you're at a track,
what do you think is going to happen?
Brakes fail.
Oh my gosh.
Or in the corner, don't predict it and the tires start sliding and be like, okay, that was a lot more speed than going into it. Or
So you can't control yourself? What happens when you're out driving the hills? Because I know you drive the hills.
I have rules and limits.
Well, use those rules and limits on the big track.
I can't be going 60 miles an hour on the track. But I know I need to get over that. And it's not going full force, just building myself up to it.
Exactly.
And having
Really,
kind of a...
just be smart.
Yeah, exactly.
Ghost car could do it.
Ghost car would do it, yeah.
Ghost car could do it.
But that's the thing is,
But
like,
the ghost car is not going to be done probably this summer.
No.
So he needs
Probably
to get his Mustang out there.
More likely next summer.
Yeah.
yeah. And then that's the thing is, I do want to do that. The other big thing I want to do on the track, I really want to get back into Lucky Dog at some point and do endurance racing. That'd be fun.
I would love to do some endurance racing.
How
many
don't
people
wanna
you need
do it
for
in
that?
my car?
4. We could do the ghost car into that.
That's true.
That would be fun.
That
to
would
do
be a great car for that.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I'm down
Sign
for
me
that.
up. Yeah.
I'm 100% down for that.
Okay. All right. We're going
Jeremy?
to do Lucky
You need
Dog.
2 more drivers.
Cy, and I'm not sure who the next
What?
driver is.
Why you need 2?
You have to have 4 in
You have
Lucky
to have
Dog.
4.
Are you not driving?
He could be our team captain.
Maybe, probably not.
Okay. Then we need
So-
some more drivers.
Yeah.
Jason will do it.
There you go. There's
There
4.
you go. Yeah, my problem with it is I don't like.
I just
driving.
volunteered you, Jason.
I don't like driving on a big track with other drivers. Not that I don't trust myself, but I don't trust it.
Yeah, no, that's the other thing is it's definitely intimidating. Like when I went on to did Lucky Dog my first time, the problem was I've got stories about Lucky Dog in general, and let's just make it this episode for me talking about it. So like when I joined the Lucky Dog team and went racing on there, they told me we had 2 spec Miatas and they put me in the Miata that was actually more of a Lemons car than the spec Miata. Okay. And I'm like, cool, I'm the new guy running into it, seeing how that goes through. The problem is they told me that Miata was going to be considered slow even for its class, which I'm like, okay, never driven Miata. We'll get on to this thing, okay? So 2 things happen, first off. First thing is as our 2 cars are coming around the back, with our first guys testing them, right? Before the lap, just the parade lap, before even car goes, the car I was driving, the Lemons car, black car comes in. Something's going on, timing's off. They had to have it towed in.
Oh, no.
So the night before, they decided to do a timing job onto it and a bunch of other things to that car. Me being one of the only mechanics at the time, I was like, okay, well, diagnosing, going through all this after about 2 hours with also another mechanic, we came to the conclusion, like, well, it's got compression, it's got spark, it's got everything. We're pretty sure timing's gone. Our team captain at the time did not want to have it where that was messed with. He's like, that's going to take too much time to retime the car. We're going to have to do something else and blah, blah, blah. And as this going on, our other car, the spec car, is going around the track. And at one point, they lost the entire rear driver's side calipers, brake system.
Yeah.
And then they came in and they took it off of the black car, and which we already had in the air. We're like, and they put on that car and they got out. I'm like, well, now we need brakes for this car. So we start getting on that. And as it goes to the next lap, the right side goes off completely. So they had to steal that. So we had to do a brake job on the Miata and figure out parts and get stuff. And eventually they had another Mazda Master Tech that happened to be in the paddock. And after coming through, the guy goes, yeah, from what you guys say, we think it's going to be the timing. So our team leader finally agreed for us that we started getting on timing, got back to the timing. It had spun it 180.
Oh, wow.
Some bolt came loose and had spun the intake cam 180 on that. We're like, you gotta be kidding me. Wow. So we got that going. But by the time it was done and the black car was ready, the race in the day had ended. It was the nighttime race. And I was the only one with the driving suit on.
Yeah.
So they threw me in, said, okay, you're going, you're driven, night driving, go. And I'm like, I have never driven on the big track before. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. We get on, I flip on the lights, and we start going down the straightaway in PR. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Getting ready, getting hot, okay? And mind you, this car has already had problems because the other car is already, parts are falling off. We've been trying to repair it today. And my whole thought was like, well, I put my hands on this. I've wrenched it, so hopefully it's good. But everything else, I'm not sure what they did to it. I'm going down the straightaway at PR, and as I'm pushing the brakes for the first time, the entire cabin lit up with sparks.
Oh, wow.
To the full, where you couldn't see. I was like, what is going on? And then I'm like, okay. And I turned the corner. I'm like, okay, it didn't die. Keep going. We're in the next corner. Push it. Nothing but sparks. I'm like, I guess it's a quirk of the car. The team had not bed in the brakes beforehand with new brake pads for the fronts because they had done the whole brake job the night before as well. So there's like pictures of me going down the straightaway, and it just the entire car lit up with red hot calipers going through. I'm like, okay.
Why was it throwing sparks though?
Because I don't know.
Probably the type of brake pads.
Put your pads in backwards. Good Lord.
Yeah, it was wild, but it was also at night. I felt more calm and accustomed to it because I do a lot of my driving at night when I'm in my racing style. But the next morning was the big thing. They put me into the car. Because at night, there wasn't a lot of people who drove at night. There was only like 7 other cars. And that was kind of nice. It was easy. But during the Sunday morning, it was pretty crowded. And they threw me first thing in there. They said, okay, go for it. We're going to have you take off. And we're going to have you leading the charge, see where it goes. But just remember, this car isn't, the fastest Miata out there. It's probably lower the class. So just kind of expect that. And me not driving a Miata before, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's do this. Okay, get in mindset. Let's go. Everyone's excited. We're getting ready to launch off, okay? And I'm watching, I'm revving that thing up. It's going up, and I'm looking at that tachometer as I'm going up and catching everyone. 5,000's right where red line is. It's showing on that thing, and I just shift. Because, when you, on the tachometer, if it starts getting towards that red line, it just cuts off. And I'm like, okay, I've never driven me on. I'm like, that's kind of weird. It's really low on it. I figured it'd go higher, but no. So driving, and as I'm driving it, I'm just super sluggish on speed. Everyone's passed me. It's at the point where it's like dangerous because there's people coming so close and fast behind me, and I'm just trying to gain speed. In fact, I think the back straightaway fast I got was like 92 miles an hour or something like that.
That's top speed for a Miata.
Yeah, or like 80. It was embarrassing. I was to the point where I was like, this is dangerous. 2 hours after going through it, surviving, I should say, going through it, I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, I understand slow cars, but this is too slow for this track. They need to either put a bigger motor or same motors or the spec car we have. I'm like, that one's actually driving fast. So they get off. We switch out drivers. We put one of the other team drivers get into this car. Okay, they jump into the car I was in, starts driving and going through. Comes in after 2 hours and he goes, "Oh my gosh, that's the best thing ever! Don't change a thing in this car. This thing is the best thing that's ever hit it, and it drives magnificently. And let me tell you guys, this thing, it's perfection." I'm like, really? He goes, "Yeah, dude, you're just going down the back straightaway and you're hitting like 105, 110 miles an hour and just going at it." And I stopped and pointed finger and said, "That is fucking bullshit." And he goes, "Excuse me?" I said, "Pardon my language." I'm like, that's bullshit. That thing will not do over 92 miles an hour no matter how much you push it." And he goes, "No, dude, all you gotta do is take the thing and as you're driving and run it through, you crank it up in the RPMs and shift it right at 8,000 RPM. 8,000? I'm like, "What do you mean 8,000? He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "The red line's at 5. And he goes, "Oh no, that's when you start making power." I'm like, "No one told me this beforehand." So they put me in.
I bet your second go is a little better.
They put me in the last 30 minutes of the race. And in those 30 minutes, I put the second fastest lap of the day in our team in that car, knowing that I could actually go faster. And like, okay, yeah, now I can see why this thing goes.
Oh, this isn't so bad
This ain't so bad. I just got to actually put my foot in the gas. I'm like, great, perfect. Oh,
Take your foot out of your ass and put it back in the gas.
That's the thing is like for me,
Clever.
like I really like to put my hands on the car and wrench on it and know what a car does. Because that's the thing is it was fun being with that team, but I had no investment in the car. I didn't know anything about them. And I think that really hindered me of like what I could do on the track. I didn't find out till the last half an hour of the racing on that. 2 whole days of going through. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And the first day was literally, I didn't get to drive at all except for the last like hour or two because I was wrenching. That's what they needed to have was someone wrenching and figuring it out. But doing a lucky dog again race, I think building a car that we know ins and outs, we have an idea of, okay, something broke. We're going to go find other parts. What is it going to take? We have, not to my own arm, we have me on site. I mean, the fact is something breaks, I'll make it work with a hammer, some duct tape and zip ties, and then we'll win the race that way.
What year Miata was that?
It was a 91, I think. He's looking up the top speed.
Yeah.
I'm looking up 7,200 RPM.
That's what.
Dang.
Okay. Yeah.
That's stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Man.
It starts making power at 5,000.
What? Excuse me.
That's where I was shifting.
I'll tell you that sounded like a angry bee's nest when you started getting up in those RPMs.
I know.
Something about those Miatas, they all kind of sound like that.
I think it's a 4-cylinder thing.
Yeah.
Something about the really bad exhaust they put on.
That's the other thing is my style driving is I drive at redline. I drive up high in the RPMs, and I wish I would have known that from the beginning because that would have changed everything. But kind of like how I drive Liger. Normally with muscle cars, you get your torque off the line or you get about halfway in the torque and you shift, right? Typically people, because you have it too high up and the wheel starts spinning. But for me, and then you've talked about this, Rob. It's like when I'm on the track, you can tell because the way I drive, it's just
you keep it up in the RPM for sure.
Yeah,
on that particular. I mean, I don't know what your RPM range is, but like
it's like 50 right now. It was 5250. I bumped it up to 6,000 now, but I'm right about like 57, 5,500.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's where I'll shift if I'm getting up that high, but typically I'll keep it like 48 to like 52.
What does your rev limiter do? Does it just cut out, or is it a?
Mine's got it where it just will hold it there. It
just stops. It just stops.
And it'll just stop.
Okay.
So that's super handy.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Saves your motor.
Better than bouncing on it. Yeah, some of them just cut out. Some of them
bounce out, kill your power. And let me tell you, that is scary when that happens. If you're like in a corner and you're already ready for the high RPM and it bounces it back, that could throw your whole steering off. Because it cuts the power and you're like, okay, wait, I need that to finish the corner.
I've never hit a rev limiter in a corner, so.
Really? Why not?
Why would you?
Why not?
Control?
I will have to take you and show you.
No, that sounds terrible.
It does.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But
okay, well.
Can we back on the track real fast? I want to say.
That's where we were at, yeah.
I really want to do ORP though on the big track.
I thought you'd been there.
I've done that at a track cross, but I haven't done that as a track day.
Yeah.
That's my favorite track.
Yeah.
PR is okay, but
PIR it's so basic, but once you get out there, you have a good time. I do anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, it's really basic and pretty short lap.
But ORP is just
is
bigger.
Awesome.
It's got different elevations. It's got
I want to get
banks.
up to the ridge too.
I've not driven on the ridge yet, but
I have not either.
That one looks a lot of fun too.
Yeah. We'll get you there.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to take a day off though, because they all run weekdays.
I know. And that's the hardest part.
I know.
Because I'm a workaholic. Jeremy, on the other hand, though.
I got a lot of vacation days.
Go. And we can get him on the big track.
I just put a couple Fridays on my time there.
There you go.
How about a Tuesday? Tuesday is track day.
No, Tuesday is two-wheel Tuesday. We already agreed on that.
Okay. New topic.
Okay.
Vehicles with cult followings.
Ooh, yeah.
All right.
Cult classic cars.
Okay.
What do you
There's
got?
so many.
What
of
do
them.
I got?
You think?
Gremlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yes. Totally. Gremlin. AMC.
Gremlin. The God, what the hell is it called? The Ford Pinto.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Is that a cult classic car though? I mean, I think it's a lot of people know it.
It's got a cult following, right?
Does it?
I don't know.
What about?
I think they used to.
Is there a following for like the Dodge Shelbys? You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Like the 80s. Dude, I've seen like
buddy of mine in high school had one of those.
Yeah. Does that have like a cult classic?
Shelby hatchback.
Yeah. With the turbos.
Kind of ridiculous. Such a ridiculous car.
And you don't see
Shelby
them
actually. No, I got to wonder, like, really what happened to those?
I'm thinking like the late 90s Japanese cars, right?
Mm-hmm. GT3000.
Yeah, GT3000.
I love that car so much.
The RX-7.
RX-7, that's not a cult classic.
That's not a cult car.
Supra's not a cult classic. That is now a classic. Or
no. They're turning into classics. What I was talking about when I sent that to Rob was which ones have cult following?
The Prowler.
Cult following.
The Prowler. Yeah, that car.
Yeah.
The Shelby hatchback.
That thing's cool.
Yeah,
you know what it kind of
had? Same color, that blue and silver.
There was a guy who autocrossed one like no one's business.
It's very reminiscent
1985 Shelby
Fox body.
How much horses did that make? 140?
No.
Is that car considered a hot hatch? I think it is.
It is. Yep. All original American hot hatch.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Interesting.
Started in 1983.
What motor did it have?
Like
Like a 2.5?
2.2.
2.2.
Overhead cam. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Interesting. Anyways, cult classics. The Prowler. I mean, when's the last time you've seen one of those?
Ford fucking Ranger.
Is that?
Yeah.
I don't
What?
think so. I don't think
No.
that's a cult
What?
following.
No.
Totally had a cult following.
A Ranger?
Yeah.
Ranger Danger?
Danger Ranger.
Nah.
No, I think
I
it's
mean,
too
they're
widespread
everywhere.
now.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
way too many of those. That's not like even. I mean, you can look outside, watch the street, in 5
yeah,
minutes
that'd
you'll
be-
see 6 of them.
Yeah.
Probably.
What about here's one, the T-Bird. We brought that up earlier. Like, not a lot of people are talking about that.
I do like the old T-Bird.
So do I.
Not the new ones. I
The new
don't
one-
like the new ones. I think they're awful.
I really.
Oh, the T-Bird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they're ugly as sin.
I kind of want to get my hands on one. I can't. The look of one, I'm like, there's days I love it and hate it. Not okay. I shouldn't say love. I like it and hate it, and I shouldn't say hate. But it's on that balance. It's not on the extremes. It's always in the middle. Kind of want to get one, just see A, what I could do to it, and then B, be like, is this something that is just underappreciated? You know, because it was in that time where Ford that was on the Panther platform. I bet you could throw a lot of Terminator parts into it, or things from like the Capri into it, you know, or the Cougar. You know, I bet you with enough like Ford bin parts, you can make it a really cool car.
Okay, I'm a little late to the game here, but I finally found the horsepower to the Dodge Shelby.
Bring it on.
146 horsepower.
Wow,
So
great.
it was
Right in
built
there.
from
Yeah.
mid 1983 to 1985. So it was
Okay.
only built for those 3 years. 2.2 overhead cam,
I wonder how much power you can get out of that car.
T3 turbocharged, 8 pounds of boost, 146 horsepower.
Wow.
Damn.
They were all turboed?
Yeah, from
Yep.
Shelby.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's why. Yeah.
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 And I think that's
Interesting.
why it was kind of popular, because getting a turbocharged car back then was kind of rare,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
especially
the
from the factory.
Ford Mustang, when they had the Fox bodies,
Mhm.
they actually had an RS version that was a 4-cylinder that
That-
was turboed.
Yeah.
That is a cult classic car, Fox
Yes.
body.
Oh yeah,
Not-
for sure.
Honestly,
You
yeah,
think
it is.
so?
I
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Early Fox body.
Because they have such a following
Yeah, they
for
have
that
a
car.
big
Yeah.
following.
And honestly, a Fox body is one of those cars that you either love it or you hate it.
Yep.
There's so little in between. You know,
Yeah, I
people
can
are just
see
like,
it. Like,
oh, I
'cause-
love Fox bodies. And other
Like, because
people are
I
just
like,
oh my
I
God,
like
that's
Fox
terrible.
body Mustangs, but I don't like early Fox body Mustangs. So
Oh, yeah?
I'll agree with you on that. one.
Early as in what range?
Like the whatever, because what
They only
changed,
made them from
they
like
changed-
83 to 88.
No, it
Or
was
no, 90 something.
91 to 88 or 87 was when they changed the facelift, I think, and then it was like 86 to 83,
Yeah.
right?
80,
like
I
that.
think 83 was the first year.
And
I
that
remember
it's just too round. It's too like a grandma's car, you know. That personally, that's kind of what I feel. Are you looking it up, Rob?
Yep.
What do you find?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
79 to 93.
79. Wow.
Wow, I didn't even realize that
Yeah.
one.
It's ugly as
Wait,
sin.
when did the Mustang 2 come out?
79,
Then was that
93 Ford
77?
Mustang Fox body. That's what it says.
When did the Mustang 2 come
No, I
out?
think it was earlier than that.
Because did it go Mustang 2 and then it went into the straight into the Fox body? I thought there was something else between there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I do.
And I can't remember.
The Mustang
Here's one.
2. I thought the Mustang 2 was an 80s car. So here's a Mustang
Well,
2.
then, yeah, if it is, then why is if it's an 80s car, then why
I
is
know.
it
I don't understand that either. Unless they made them at the same time. Did they do that?
I don't think so.
No, I don't remember.
Here's
doing that.
a hot take with I know there's probably a cult classic following is the Mustang 2 Shelby King Cobras. Those cars I know have a following, and I think those are cool cars. You know what I'm talking about, Jeremy?
No.
Do you know what the Mustang 2 is?
No. We're still debating that.
It's like a boxy Mustang. I'm gonna
I'll
pull up
look
a
one up
picture.
in a minute. But, well, this is a Mustang 2.
Yeah, that's a Mustang too. But and it looks just like a normal car.
It looks a lot like a Fox
That
body.
looks like a late 70s, early 80s.
But a King
this-
Cobra.
That's Fox body. That's Fox.
That is
That's
classic
what-
Fox
yeah.
body.
That is classified. That's the later version.
Yeah. And that's
with the
For Fox
wing.
bodies,
and-
that's a better looking car.
yeah. Type in a King Cobra.
I've seen those.
You've seen one. Jeremy hasn't seen one.
have
He doesn't
not
know what
seen
I'm
one.
talking about. I think they're a cool car.
But
I
it's
think,
a
I
Shelby,
bet you,
so it's got to be badass.
you know, I bet you that has a cult classic following.
I bet.
I think it is. I'd say
I bet there's not very many of them left.
no. I saw
They are ugly.
you see them all the
Are
time
they?
in Washington though
I
for
think
some
they are.
reason. Blue
probably
with
the
white
same
stripes or white with blue stripes. I think they look
White
good.
with like what is that design they have on the hood? It looks like
There's a design on the hood. Is it a screaming chicken?
No.
it's
a
the
big
Trans Am
turd.
Killer Mustang 2 King Cobra.
Yeah. Well, let me see. There you go. What?
It looks like, you know how Trans Ams had the Firebird on the hood?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like, right?
I've never seen it like that.
Oh, really? I've seen
No.
a bunch of them.
I've never honestly seen that.
Yeah.
Type in King Cobra. Type in
kinda
blue
like it.
white
That's
stripes
it.
though.
Oh,
like
blue with white?
because that was the Shelby like kind of iconic they
Kind of
had.
color, yeah.
And
see
I've
if they have it.
seen those in a lot of. That's the combo I see. Either blue with white stripes or white with blue stripes. But
Okay,
I've
I
never
hope-
seen it with that decal on the front.
I hope our listener is keeping up. Shelby King Cobra. Oh, they don't
What?
have.
Okay.
I don't
So-
know what your sign language means.
91 minutes.
Yeah,
That's fine.
that's
I don't
fine.
care.
We recorded for 3 hours with no hiccups.
I know.
We tested. So
I'm just
King Cobra Mustang
Still
2.
leery.
oh, okay, that's fine. Lear, brought to you by
Lear.
Ford.
Langoliers.
That had a 351 in it, didn't it? I believe those Mustang 2s. I mean, they made no power. They made like 90 horses or
88.
something. 88 horses.
88 horsepower.
88 horsepower?
Yeah, she was a beast.
But that wasn't the King Cobra, right?
and they had a
King Cobra
V8?
made, yeah.
They
That
had
was what the V8 made.
they had other versions of
What?
it too, though.
Yeah.
Hang on.
That's why no one liked the Mustang too.
Yeah,
Wait.
no, it was terribly underpowered.
What did they do
So
to
they
it?
have
Smog.
Hold on, 2.3 liter 4-cylinder, 88 horsepower. They had
Okay.
a
Oh,
turbocharged 2.3 liter at 132 horsepower.
Okay.
They had a 2.8 liter V6 at 109 horsepower.
Okay.
All of them terribly underpowered.
Okay.
Yeah, no kidding.
3.3 liter inline 6 at 85 horsepower.
Oh, wow.
Then we go to the 5 liter Windsor V8, 140 horsepower, barely better than a V6.
What year was that? That's important to me.
It's not giving me a
Okay.
year right
Okay.
here.
Okay. Because I honestly
The
want to.
5 liter turbocharged 2.3.
What was the motor?
Which one?
That was the
It just
Windsor
gave you
V8,
like
the
five-
Windsor V8,
351.
It was a 5 liter.
140.
5 liter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
140 horsepower.
So 302. Yep.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
No years on those. I'm assuming it is for the entire.
Well, the reason I
run.
bring up is
So that's in
did-
1979
Did
is when it
Mustang?
started.
Did Ford have more power in a Mustang than the Corvettes had?
No, actually,
No.
the Corvettes had
I thought the
impressively like 189 horsepower.
No, I thought for sure the C4 at one point had like 140, 130 horses.
No, I think
It was a really low point.
It
for
was.
Corvette.
I thought it was more than. I thought it was in the 180 range.
I'm googling it right now. Jeremy, talk for a
Got
hot
you
second.
covered. I got you.
We're doing a race right now.
C4.
Here we go
It's
with
a
our
race.
Jeopardy again.
C4 Corvette. What horsepower?
Horsepower, yep.
So,
230 to 350 horsepower,
dang.
Hang on.
and 330 to 350 foot-pounds of torque.
Hang on.
1985
Oh, yeah, that was a
to
Mustang killer right
1991.
there.
Oh, absolutely. It would
Yeah.
destroy the Mustang, especially in the looks category. My God, those things were ugly.
Yeah, you're right.
Mustang 2s were
205 was the least it's ever did. Well, what about
Yeah.
the C3?
I thought there was one that did like
it might have been the
180.
C3 then. I bet you.
I thought there was one that had like 180.
Hang on.
horsepower.
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking-
think
pretty.
I
I'm looking
think
at the
we
C3.
talked about that recently. I think you're
We
right,
did.
Grant. I think the one of them
Okay.
had 180. Or
Yeah, here we go. Okay, here we
Yeah.
go for Chevy, 1975, and they made engines with the 350, 165 horses.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm seeing if there's less because they get went a little higher, but no, that was the lowest. 165 horses. Can you imagine?
C3 7.
I don't get
the
how
7 liter though. They had a 429 horsepower car in the 7 liter C3,
Think about
which was the C3 Z06. They have one at that museum, the
I don't-
Brothers Museum.
I don't get
It's a
how
very
they,
rare car because the C3 they didn't make very many Z06s.
yeah. I don't get how they screwed that up so bad. How do you make
smog.
even with
yeah.
smog? How do you screw up a motor so bad?
They didn't
it's
know
under
how to do it.
200 horse.
They didn't know how to put all the smog restrictions on those cars and still make horsepower. They just didn't know how.
Well, yeah, I mean, guess so.
Honestly, because you've got to refeed. Like, the way they had it then was you had to have catalytic converters, which started going through there. Then you had to have, at times, smog pumps, which is what? Recirculating your exhaust and your engine to burn through, trying to burn what's already in there. Yeah. Then you have vacuum lines.
Non-burnable material.
And the vacuum lines already rob power on there.
C2Z06.
You know, so you're taking a lot of vacuum, you're having it resuck in, and then on top of it, I mean, you're trying to make engines that flow air and bring in air, not suck, and you're having them now trying to suck and recirculate what they suck.
Yeah, I had a buddy back in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, that had a IROC. He had an IROC Z, and he went to do some engine modifications to it to get it some more horsepower, some more giddy up. And one of the biggest modifications that he did was actually replacing the pulleys.
I can believe that.
Yeah, once he replaced the pulleys, man, that thing actually had some decent power. But it was a dog before that, which I thought was kind of interesting.
We're taking rotation mass.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of it's built with cast iron, heavy. Yeah. You change it to all aluminum, build it.
Man, he took that thing to get an oil change one day. The company didn't put the oil fill plug back in, and completely grenaded the motor before he got all the way home.
Really? Did they cover it? Or insurance cover it? What happened?
They ended up covering it, but they fought it for a long time to get them to cover it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And obviously you'd be like, here's my proof. You follow the oil stain back to your bay.
Yeah, back to your shop.
Well, he couldn't figure out why anything was wrong, and you know how low an IROC Z is to the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty much in the dirt. He had to jack the car up, and when he slid under there to look, the oil plug was gone.
Wow.
Oh, here's a good one for the cult following.
Okay.
Ooh. The DeLorean.
Yes.
DMC DeLorean.
Yes.
And honestly, a Mazda Miata.
You know what else?
I'm not wrong. People are fanatical about those things.
I know.
The Grand National.
You're right. Because it was turbocharged too.
Yep.
It was turbocharged V8, I believe.
Yeah, the Grand National. That thing was cool.
Here's one thing about the DeLorean, though. Talking to anyone from that community, they're split. You either have people who love the original DMC DeLorean that John DeLorean came up and was like, this is what we're going to build as the future. Or you have the time machine people.
Yeah. And the purists don't like
they
the time
feel
machine
like you messed up and you touched our car.
Yeah.
And then
you
have people who can't see that car as anything else but the time machine.
Yeah.
You got to put a flux capacitor on it.
Oh yeah.
You have to have that. And
I wanted one of those for the longest time.
I know.
A DeLorean. You know, that was one of the first cars I was looking at back in the day, back when I was in high school, and parents were so against it. They're like, it's heavy, they roll over, they're rust and blah, blah. And I'm like, everything you're saying is false. Like nowadays, looking back, I was like, they were built with safety in mind. They weren't powerful. They were built with
drugs in mind.
Yeah, exactly.
They had so many compartments that were
hollowed out doors.
Well, I mean, how much do you guys know about DeLorean? Honestly,
you know what? I keep meaning to watch that documentary, and I haven't done it yet.
You should. I mean,
watch it, though.
DeLorean's biggest thing was safety in mind with building that car. If you look at it, how the gas tank is formed, it's formed around a frame that's built like an eye, and it's all structured in towards the center, trying to keep the gravity low and trying to keep everything protected. When they made the gull-wing doors, I believe they made it so the front windshield, they changed it so that way the front windshields could pop out easier for in the rollover. I mean, they put the gull-wing doors so that way, most people think you open the gull-wing door and you're going to hit the car next to you. They actually have a lower opening angle than a normal door. It's only like a couple inches that opens up when it's fully opened. DeLoreans are fascinating. And if you haven't, there's a documentary out there. If you haven't seen it, Rob, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And the DMC company, I still believe, is still around. They're building new DeLoreans with new old stock. I don't know if they're building with new stock, but you know what I'm talking about, do you?
weren't
new
made?
DeLoreans with old stock.
Yeah.
No,
So-
I have seen that there is a design for a new one to come out.
So
Yes,
when
I did see
DeLorean,
Yeah.
when DeLorean closed, in the 80s, right? When they closed the factory down in Ireland, they had a surplus of parts. I mean, a lot of parts.
That doesn't surprise me, but
So
are
made
they
in
actually
Ireland?
producing those, huh?
Yeah, it was Ireland when they did it, and John DeLorean did that because Ireland was looking for an influx of workers. They didn't have anything they were making, and so there was a huge tax write-off going that way. So he chose Ireland is where they started producing the DeLorean.
1981 to 1983.
But with those parts, there was I believe once the company went bankrupt, there was a guy in Texas who bought the company and started buying and bought all the parts from the company. And I believe it was in the early 2000s they started selling them. Not only selling parts individually, but they said, we have parts here to build cars. And they made a whole company where they will take all the parts they had and they're building new cars from old stock they have. And you could build, they're expensive. Buying one, I think now it's like $100,000, but you're getting a new DeLorean. And they're making different versions. Going back to electric again, they are building electric version of the DeLoreans. I also believe they still have a high horsepower turbo version that they make out, like 500 horses.
Well, it needs that because the original was
like 160 horses.
Terrible.
It was
and the car is so heavy, it's really down on performance.
yeah,
because of
and that's one thing it needs. I mean, there's some people who swap them.
I'm not finding anything to corroborate your story about
DMC?
continuing to build cars. They made 9,000 cars in the 3 years
DMC,
of production.
They had stockpiled enough cars to build nearly 30,000 of them.
DeLorean Motor Company.
But did they build them?
I'm not finding that either.
I'm not finding that.
Hang on.
It had a rear-mounted Peugeot, Renault, Volvo
Peugeot.
V6 engine. Peugeot.
Old stock. 1 second.
Okay, wait. I found that
DMC
DeLorean Motor
Classics.
Company, Texas.
Yes.
I know that. Well, see, they are revamping the car and started in 2022, and that car is set to come out this year.
January 2023. DeLorean.
To find this stuff.
Okay, wait. 2007, the new owner announced plans to start selling the refurbished cars. At that time, DeLorean could be assembled using a combination of new and original reproduction parts
There you go.
and a donor car to still carry the 1980s title. So they had to have a donor car in order to rebuild. Cost was around $57,500 to restore a DeLorean.
Dang. That's not bad.
With new old stock parts. So they weren't really making new ones per se, but they were using ones that had been used up.
This is from ClassicDMC.com. At present, these vehicles are only available at Classic DMC location at Texas. They're limited to no more than 3 cars per year. They are prepared to be purchased, ordered, and are all complete off-body restorations, including complimentary enclosures, shipping anywhere in that. Because it says, DeLorean, the dream lives again.
Yeah, it's a restoration, and the reason is, well, actually, I don't know. Maybe they didn't have any chassis. They only had parts, so they still need a VIN number in order to reproduce the car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Without an extra chassis.
Here's one from
But the new car, supposed to come out this year, will have an all-new chassis, all-new everything. Still going to have the gold wing doors, still going to be stainless steel, which is kind of cool.
This one's from Haggerty.
The one I saw was painted red.
I've actually seen an original DMC12 painted red.
I have seen the original DMC gold.
Have you?
Like solid gold. They made like 2 of them. It was an option back in the day. This one's from Haggerty from 2020. It says DeLorean confirms plans to produce new DMC12s.
Yes.
Now seeming lawsuit. Stemming from 2015 Low Volume Motors Manufacturers Act. It's back to the future again with DeLorean. Blah blah. Sounds something nationwide traffic. I'm just skimming through this like crazy. The DeLorean should be worth a bit of weight. Built from a mix of new old stock and brand new parts, the cars are getting 350 horses and an upgraded interior of modern audio and connectivity. Company owner says the bodies will conform closely to the 1981 to 83 originals with modern headlights. Although the low volume manufacturer allows companies to make 325 cars per year, company owner says that this is the upcoming run for DeLoreans will be a lower volume than that, perhaps 1 or 2 a week. However, DMC is not taking orders yet, and ultimately will be depending on several factors.
Yeah.
So
I've seen it. It actually looks wider than the original, and maybe it was just the way they took the photos and that kind of stuff. I thought it looked pretty cool.
And it
was
could
a neat looking car.
It could be for the information I was getting was like, again, because that was like from 2020.
Yeah.
Like from information I've had past where like that's what I was told was coming.
Right. So the production they actually went into production in 22.
Okay.
They're supposed to be released this year, 2024.
Okay.
Whether it actually happens or not, another story.
Okay. So wait, was that confirmed? They are building new cars from old stock?
Well, it's a combination of old stock,
Okay.
but they have to have new chassis because they didn't have VIN
Kind of
numbers.
like
The new car is a totally new car.
kind of like Porsche's restoration program they've got, where you send the Porsche in there and they'll
They can do that. Yes.
Yeah, it's similar to that. Okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyway, that's a cool little tangent.
Yep.
Thanks for that.
Welcome.
So what I had found was I just looked up cult classic cars, and I'm not really thrilled with their list, right?
First thing on there is the thing.
Mustang, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if these are in order.
I kind of agree with the
No,
Mustang.
I'm sorry. Well, I don't know if they're in order. DeLorean was the first car on it.
Okay.
Volkswagen
Interesting.
Beetle,
I can believe.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
I can see
yeah.
that.
Mazda Miata,
I can
and
understand.
then a
that.
Mustang. And I'm like, whatever.
Was there only 3?
Porsche 9. No, there's like 15 of them.
911?
The
Porsche
911s.
911, like the original, they're a collector car. Like you
yeah.
go back into the, say,
Yeah, but
75,
how many
78.
people would tell you
oh
that
my
the
gosh, I
air-
would take one of those.
How many people tell you the air cooled
The
911
air-cooled.
is the best thing
Best
ever?
car
yeah.
They were better when they were air cooled.
Right.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, that's the thing.
They've got Chevy Corvette on there. It's not
Yeah.
a cult classic car.
No, that's a guy in shorts car.
Shut up.
Damn it. I want one so
That's
bad.
so funny.
And I'm wearing shorts today.
Jeep Wrangler is, I mean, it definitely has a following, but I wouldn't call
Yeah.
it a cult classic car.
Jeep in and of itself has a following.
Yeah,
A huge,
yeah.
like the CJ5 and
Does
7s.
that make it a cult classic?
You want to know what Jeep is a cult classic? 2 of them. Either A, the Willys Jeep,
Willys,
or B, the Jurassic Park Jeep.
I'd go with the Willys.
Okay.
I mean, I would
But
too.
there is a following for the Jurassic Park Jeeps.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Explorers.
So-
Let's get on a tangent about that. Let me tell you.
No, let's go back.
Nope.
Let's
No,
go
we're gonna
back.
skip that.
The Jeep following is so freaking huge, and the CJ has been around since the 70s.
Yeah.
I would, yeah. The CJ is more of a classic Jeep to me. Oh, Willys, whatever, the war era Jeeps, but the Willys the CJ.
Yeah.
CJ5 or whatever it is.
CJ5 and CJ7s were the big ones, and then I think they had a CJ9. It was a longer version.
Did Jeep ever have a consistent motor in their vehicles?
It
Like a motor that just because their platforms are all similar.
was an inline 6 was the main one that they've used.
What was that? And how long did it last for? Kind of like how
It was
Chevy's got the LS motor and Ford's got the 351s, and the 302s.
God, forever. I
Porsche
think.
got what is the Jeep motor that just has been staying forever and it just has worked? Because they didn't put like a Detroit in there,
It wasn't
did they?
like a big motor either. It
No.
was like a 3 liter or 3.6,
Yeah.
something like that. It wasn't
Okay.
huge.
I think you're right. I think it was a 3 liter or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't giant. It
I
was
never-
an inline 6. and
Whenever
it ran
Jeep stuff
forever.
comes up, I never hear anything bad about their motors,
Mm-hmm.
but their electrical issues. I
yeah.
hear a
Yep.
ton about that.
Yeah.
But
But that's all new Jeeps, right? I mean, that's what I hear.
yeah,
about
I
it.
think predominantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Well,
you're
'cause
talking
the old Jeeps didn't have
Didn't
electric.
have it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They didn't have
Yeah.
anything. But that's the thing is like they're just rugged because they go forever.
Right.
I think the coolest thing about those Jeeps is like if you've put a soft top on it
Mhm.
and you've got the soft doors and you open a door, there's no locks, by the way.
No.
You open that door and lift it and it comes right off.
That's blasphemy, Jeremy. You should not have doors on a Jeep. You know that.
Awesome. I love it. I love a Jeep with a bikini top, man. Those things are, I think they're
You
fire.
like bikini tops. So,
I like no tops, go topless.
oh,
I
even
like
better.
that too.
Shelby Cobra.
Yep.
What? That's on
Yep.
there?
It's on there.
Why wouldn't it be? Look at that.
It's
Look at
an
that thing.
iconic car. A cult classic car, though. I feel like cult classic cars are more defined by,
The people.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
So-
they have a following of just random people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just people really love them. Sure, people love Shelby Cobra, but they're in such a high dollar class that it doesn't deserve a cult.
But
Do you
they're
think
so-
they're in a high dollar class? I mean, the kit
Yes.
cars.
What?
Think about this. You can get a kit car for like new,
Grant
let's say
just said
for
it.
under kit car,
How many companies make that kit car?
like 7 or 8.
yeah, probably.
And that's the thing
probably
is-
there's probably 2 good ones, but yeah.
No, and I agree. But that's the thing. It's like for a Shelby, I bet you can get a brand new one that's not a great quality one for like under 30 grand. And I'm not saying it would be like
But the original car.
the original car, yeah. Or even
It's
like
$1 million car, so
yeah.
that does not equal cult classic.
That doesn't make it the cult classic, but I think the fact that they have companies now still that replicate them, I think that makes it a classic.
I mean,
cult classic.
The Ford Cobra
I
was
sort of disagree, because if the DMC DeLorean is a cult classic, it has
Yeah.
not been replicated.
True. That's true.
yeah.
But
But
a
that
Volkswagen
car-
Beetle has not been replicated.
No, but there was
Yeah, it has.
millions of
There
those.
is millions
What
of them.
are you talking about? They made a new Beetle in like 2005.
That's a new one. It's
That's
not the
the
replica.
same company.
It's not a replica.
And actually, you could get the same ones.
And you're right. They've made trillions of them, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
everybody loves those.
Out
kind
of
things.
Mexico.
Yeah.
You could
They still
get,
make them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
They
I
still
forgot about
make
that.
them.
Yeah, they do.
but I was gonna say was the one thing that the Cobra kit cars did before anyone else. Cobra kit cars were the original Wish car,
Yeah.
like like you buy on Wish.com, where they're low quality and they're not like the original
Yeah.
one.
Actually,
That's true.
we were talking about that Facebook project Cars for Sale.
Yeah,
I found one on there today.
did you?
A Cobra
the
kit
Wish
Are
car?
you gonna get one?
Cobra kit.
A Wish Cobra.
I should look it up. It was not very expensive. I thought of you.
Well, are you gonna buy it or are you gonna have me buy it?
You're gonna buy it.
Perfect.
It's like $4,500.
Let's do it. I would do that.
All right, what else you got?
Wait, was that the red one that like had
No,
the
it was
headlights?
primer gray.
I think I know the one you're talking about. I saw that and I was like, oh, but Jeremy would kill me if I brought another one home.
What else you got on there?
They're not very good. I'm not impressed. Honda CRX,
Okay.
Austin
I can see that.
I can see
Allegro,
that.
A what?
What?
Austin,
What's that?
like an Austin Healey, but it's an Austin Allegro.
Okay.
What about
1973 to 1982.
So
they
that
call the-
must be from somewhere else where
Is-
the
is-
cla-
Yeah,
the
it's a
cult
European
following
car.
is. Yeah,
is
I
the
could-
midgets on there? Is that what they're called?
Mini.
MG.
You got
Yeah,
the Mini.
MG midget.
Mini, I could see.
But
Mini, I
that's
can
the
see.
new Mini, not the old Mini.
Oh, really?
But I
Wow.
could still see it.
Yeah.
There's strangely popular, right?
The original ones are so freaking
Have you
cool.
A
guys-
Citroen C2V. That's also a
sounds
European car.
Have you guys ever driven a midget?
It's like a Volkswagen.
Is that what they're called? The MG midgets? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I have not ever driven one.
not
I'm
driven
trying to-
I figured that's probably called classic, but like how
MGs feel like they are.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask like
what about like a
how they
914
drive.
Porsche?
Oh, I love those cars.
I do too. I think it's an amazing little
And
car. I
Porsche
want one
people
so bad.
hate them so much, but
I know, 'cause
that's my
Volkswagen.
favorite Porsche of all time is the,
The
914.
914. Yeah.
There's so many
It's my
times
least
I
favorite.
should have bought one because they were inexpensive.
So
now they're expensive.
Getting out of
so dumb.
Getting out of Wyotech when I worked at Volkswagen, I actually had a boss who was going to sell me one. It was a 1974 914 with a 2.0 engine in it,
Yeah.
and it was bored over to a 2.2. That car, later on in the same color with the same engine, they sold like, let's say 10, 15 years ago for 130 grand. That was the 2.0
I've
four-cylinder
never
car.
seen
I've
one
never seen
that
one that
expensive.
high.
Google it. It
never
blew the market up in COVID.
The 914 6, right?
Flat six, yeah.
That's the more expensive one.
That's the more expensive one, but for some reason that 2.0, the four-cylinder flat one, that one sold for 130, and that is what temporarily spiked all 914s where they were like 30 to 40, 60 grand for one for a
And
while.
what's the equivalent today?
Of what, something like that?
The 914. What is the equivalent today?
A
the
Boxster?
equivalent
A
Boxster.
Boxster.
Ugh.
Eh.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ugh.
I mean,
Which
They called the 914
26,000. 1975 Porsche 19. Oh God, speak. Porsche 914
for 20-something thousand.
2.0, 700 miles on it.
Yeah.
26 grand.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a steal.
Well,
Yeah.
type in 914 record. Just and you'll see what I'm talking about for price that was sold.
Here's
That-
one for 30.
it was a nice-
I still think that's
And
ridiculous.
I still think it's too much. Like, they've come down where you can get them for like $1,500 again, but they're the rust bucket ones.
Yeah, that's
ones
the problem.
that-
See,
Yeah, the ones that need some work as a
back when I was
project.
thinking about buying one, you could get it for $2,500.
Exactly.
And it ran, and it wasn't a rust bucket.
You can get one now that somewhat runs. There's a project for like $4,500.
Well, if it's
35,
not
but they
rusty,
need
I'd
some-
take that.
That's the problem is finding one. And there's multiple rust spots you have to worry about.
This one looks like it's been on fire, and they went 36,000 for it.
No
That's
thanks.
insane.
All right. What else you got?
Okay, back to the list. The list, I'm just not impressed with the list.
Well, then go to a different list.
Okay. Chevy Camaro, Pontiac Firebird, Land Cruiser.
I could see the Cruiser.
Yeah, the early ones. I'm surprised like International
Toyota Land
Scout's
Cruiser's
not on
kinda
here or
cool.
something.
You know, Toyota Land Cruiser back when I was in high school, even a shitty rust bucket was like $8,000.
Yeah, they've always been really expensive. Yeah. You look at those and you're like, God, that's kind of cool. And you're like, whoa, that's expensive.
Yeah, what?
That's a surprising number. Wow.
It's out of my league.
Yeah, kind of. For what it is,
My old boss had one that was pretty cool, and it had a Chev 350 in it that he did. So that one was kind of cool. He drove it for years to and from work.
Cult classic cars. Yeah, the list. Oh, see, this list looks better. It's got the Volkswagen bus on it. It's already got to be better.
I'm looking at this real fast.
I can see a bus because that does have a cult classic.
Going back to
absolutely.
Cult following.
Volkswagen bus.
Yeah.
We talked about that before. They're amazing.
2 914s have really caught my eye on this. I was looking up right now. One sold in 2021. It's a 914-6 with a flat 6, okay, competition style. $665,000.
He looks on the DuPont registry for all
another one
expenses.
sold.
Right? Yeah.
Another one sold for $995,000.
Get out of here with it.
And I still think it's stupid.
Yeah, that is stupid. That's just dumb. I mean, I get the flat 6 motor
I'm
was
trying to
more
find
rare
the
in that car.
2.0
And
though.
the performance would be awesome, right? But $900,000. Go spend your money somewhere
Yeah,
else.
Right?
there was one that
Buy a
Is this the one I was looking
Corvette
at?
for that.
I want too much.
You could buy the C8R for that.
You can buy 10
Right,
Corvettes for that.
No, C8R.
See, this is
$750.
This is one I was talking about, not this exact one, but 1974 2.0 Porsche sold in 2019 for $67,000 on Bring a Trailer.
Why are we still talking about the Porsche?
Yeah,
I was trying to
I'm
say,
still not
I was
impressed.
trying to find that one that was like 130,000 that sold.
You found one for 900.
the Volvo P1800.
You win.
Real fast. Last I'll touch on this,
here we
okay?
go.
2018, okay? This says from Haggerty on an article saying, why
that's the problem.
$93,000 for this Porsche 9?
How much?
$93,000 for this Porsche 914 isn't crazy.
No, that is
I don't wanna
For
hear
the
it.
2.0.
crazy.
I don't want to hear it. Listener, if you want to hear it, you can just look it up yourself.
Yeah.
Or you can call Grant. I'll give you his number.
He'd be happy to talk your ear off about it.
I have a whole hotline.
Look up the P1800, the Volvo P1800. That is on a cult classic list.
I could see that.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a cool car.
it is.
I like that.
Yeah, it's
That's
almost
a cool
Mercedes-esque. I mean,
Look at
it's
that.
definitely a Volvo.
Jeremy, look
right?
at this.
I got mine coming.
No, Jeremy, look at my phone.
Yeah, that's
That is a beautiful car.
Yeah, it's cool.
What is it? V18?
Do you think that's a better?
P is in Paul.
Do you think it's a better
Producer
looking
Pete.
car than the Carmen Ghia? They
I was
very
just
similar.
going to say the Volkswagen Carmen Ghia, also a cult classic car.
Yeah, I could see that.
Chevy Corvair is on there. The Avante. That's an ugly piece of garbage, but there it is. Toyota Supra. There's a cult classic car.
Is the
This
Jaguar
This list is a
XJ12
little
on
better.
there?
It is not.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one's that one from the 80s?
No, 70s.
Chevy El Camino.
Oh, I could see that. I love that
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys
I
grow
like
up
those.
liking the Ranchero more than the El Camino?
No.
Or
The
vice
only
versa?
reason I like the styling of the El Camino better than the Ranchero.
Okay.
Yep.
But the Ranchero came with a big block 500
Exactly.
in it. Yeah. So, I mean, if you could find one of those just for the motor, oof,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty awesome.
That'd be sick. Have you guys seen the
Put that in the GMC.
Have you guys seen the Roadkill El Camino thing where they tried to take an El Camino from Texas or California all the way up to Alaska
That doesn't
with the
surprise
rally?
me.
I'll send you the video later.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
no, I think I have
You
seen
know what I'm
that.
talking
Yeah.
about? That was such a good video. Jeremy, you've seen that or not?
No.
I'll have to show you. It's a really good series. They're trying to replicate what Road and Track did in the 70s, I think, right, Rob? And it was a trail rally that started in California, ended up in Alaska. So they built a El Camino, made it like Baja kind of style to make it so it would get up to Alaska.
I could see
Alcan
that.
Highway or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It was following that. I think it was following the I-5 highway all the way up.
Well, it turns into Alcan
Turns
Highway.
into dirt.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Gravel road, basically.
So
At least it used to be. I don't know what it's like now.
yeah, but it was a fun 2-part episode, worth watching.
Chevy Corvair, which we talked about. That's a
love-
classic
that's a good
car. Datsun 240Z.
Yes.
That's a good car.
Which reminds me,
Yes.
I saw one of the new Nissan 400Z or whatever they're calling
Really?
the new one. And yeah,
On the
actually
road?
just tonight, on the
Okay.
way here.
It's a good looking car.
I had the 370, right? I raced that for a while. It's better than I thought. Like I've seen pictures of it. Today was the first time I'd actually seen it on the street. And the back of the car does give you the feeling of the older 240, 270 versions, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's not so bad. It's kind of plain, but at the same time, the way the lines come down the back hatch and stuff, it's not bad.
I will say the one thing I don't like about the interior is nice. How when you sit it to it, everything's where it needs to be. There's knobs and everything. The problem is, it's in my opinion, actually not my opinion. I had a cousin with me, or anyways, someone with me also at the same time. We both agreed though the roof line just is a little bit too far forward and just makes it seem really narrow.
You know, my 370 was that way too.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. He had a 370 as well.
I'm a little shorter, so it really didn't bother me, but I can see where like a taller person would probably bother him, because it does come down like almost into your sight line.
Yeah. But other than that, I think it's a good car, you know?
Yeah.
And it's
I really liked mine. I mean, it was just base model 370, right? And I did a lot of work to it with all the suspension and brakes. And once I got it finally dialed in, the thing was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it really handled well.
It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on driving a 400Z, because especially since they're based off, I think they're based off the 370 platform, aren't they?
They are. Actually, the body lines are very similar. They just changed the back hatch in the way the lines come together at the rear. They changed the tail light.
So it'd be very interesting to hear your thoughts on driving one and say like, okay, if you took this from the 370, put into it, it'd be perfect.
The new one has a bigger motor too.
Yeah.
Which is a plus. Mine was a 3.7 liter, you know, making, after the modifications I did, I was about 315 horsepower.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Especially because it's a 3,100 pound car.
Yeah.
So
welcome to Mustang Worlds.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
they're that heavy?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I know.
How heavy did you say?
3,100.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I know, 4,000 pound Mustang guy over there.
I had a buddy of mine
that's still heavy for a V6 and small car.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Damn.
And that's basically why I got rid of it. I was down to swap the motor or get a new car. So I sold it and got a new car.
Corvette's not a bad way to go.
No, it was a good trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did trading in the 370, did that make a pretty good dent in...
I sold it outright. I got 20 for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah. I thought it was decent.
Yeah, no, that's way more than I thought you could get out of a 370. Holy crap.
Yeah. And that was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
All right. I got one topic left if you guys are interested.
Do it.
Listener, are you interested? Of course you're interested. You made it this far. Here we go.
And if you're not, well, that's tough. We're going to do it anyway.
Grant's going to love this one.
Oh, boy.
Music,
hang on.
music in the car while you're racing.
We have two more topics.
No.
So, no, we have two topics. That one for sure we have to hit on, but we also have to hit on the bike.
We talked about
we did
the
it
bike.
last week.
Did we talk about last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were here.
I'm excited to re-listen to that episode.
I'm excited for you too.
Yeah.
Thank God we got one topic left now.
Listener, go back to episode 4 and listen to the update on the KLR 650.
Oh, there we go.
Grant's going to join you.
Yeah.
Okay, so music in the car while you're racing.
You can hold hands and listen to it together.
I want to hear...
I'm going last on this topic. I want to hear everyone's thoughts first, please.
Jeremy?
All right. What is it?
Music in the car while you're racing.
I'm not Grant.
That's why I'm going
didn't
last.
ask you to be.
When I'm racing, I want to hear the motor. I don't give a shit about music. I am all about the engine notes,
As you should be.
and what it sounds like.
Oh, Dreyers.
I want to hear the tires. I want to hear
As you should be.
I want to hear the car. I want to hear the race. I don't. Music is off.
You should be all sensory connected to the car. That is feel. That is sound. That is sight. All
Now,
of that.
Grant is going to tell you.
This is why I brought this topic up.
Now, Grant is going to tell you exactly this. Okay. I can feel my car. My ass is connected to the seat and I can feel the ground. But he cannot hear the tires. He cannot hear the motor like you should be. You can't hear the whine of things.
Just so the listeners, I'm really holding back right now.
That's why. That's
the
why
creak of the suspension.
Everybody on the sidelines watching Grant drive. That's why we hear him grinding the gears because he can't hear that he's missing that.
I am not okay. First to second, sometimes, yeah. But
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Okay. All right. Well, but Jeremy and I are aligned on this. I mean, it is a sensory thing. You should be listening to the motor. You should be listening to the exhaust, the brakes, the tires. But that's what I like. Anyway, I don't want to listen to music when I'm racing. I want to hear the car.
First update I do if I'm going to build a race car is yank the fucking stereo right out.
It doesn't have one already.
I know.
So you're good.
Right. Everything like stereo, the head unit, the speakers, the wire, everything's coming out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Grant Tart is racing right now.
Angry.
Boy.
Just angry.
I'll just let you guys get out first, because when I start talking, it's going to be a hot minute.
Now, I'm not going to say that jumping in the truck and towing the trailer up to the track.
Completely different.
Completely different. Yeah. I've got a playlist, you know. Yep. I've got stuff I want to listen to. But at the track, while I'm on the track, there is nothing in my car but the music of the car.
Yep. I'm right there with you. Listener, I want to know. Please tell me if you listen to music while you're racing. And if you do, I want a good excuse. I want to know why.
I'll give you all the reasons why.
Doesn't mean you're right.
Okay.
All right. Grant,
the floor is yours.
It's your show.
I'm trying to even think where to start, because
he's fuming
Jeremy.
over there.
Jeremy.
I'm listening.
A lot of things you were saying was correct, but hang on. All right,
hang on.
I'm gonna first start. It is not wrong to listen to your car, to hear every nook and cranny, to hear tires screech, to hear the engine go, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And if that's what you want to do, that's great. Because every time people are like, don't you want to hear the engine go? Yeah. I'm also going to say this: when I drive personally, I have the music up and I have it loud. So that let's clarify, because first time listeners, they won't know this. So for me, when I race, I like having music going through, and it's not like a specific song genre. It changes all the time. It depends specifically how the track's set up. It changes how my drive is going through, because it's not just if I'm driving on the track. If I'm driving on the road, if I'm going through backcountry road, the sun out, it could be rainy, it could be whatever. The first thing is, what is the mood that I'm looking for on this type of drive? And that's one thing that's going to determine what kind of music I'm going through. If I'm going a long, straight highway road, I'm going to not play. That's something I might play a podcast. And if I do, maybe I'll play something just mellow. If I'm going through the twisties and the mountain that's going up and down, I want to hear that, not only the engine go, but I want to hear the music beat hit it and roar up with it and match it.
So I think on the back roads, I don't disagree with you.
Okay, hang on.
But that's not a racetrack.
Hang on. I'm getting to that. Okay. I gave you your time. I gave you your time. I'm going to let you finish, but hang on. Okay.
Go for it.
When it comes to the track, whole different story, because every track's different. And especially with autocross, it's not the same track, meaning every music's going to be changing. Okay. When I'm behind the wheel and I want to be at the A game going through, I want to feel like I'm in a awesome action movie. I want to feel like the adrenaline's going. I want to feel like the 12-year-old kid with the rocket boosters going off, because it just gets me amped up and pumped up. When you're driving through and you have all that going through and be like, okay, here we go. There's times where if you pick the wrong song, you can overdrive yourself. There's no point to have where if a track flows, why would you want to have like death metal playing? It's all a balance.
Death metal's cool.
If you watch me when I'm driving, and there'll be times where I'll like spin out or whatever, and if you're listening to the music, it's a lot of time doesn't match up. When I have the perfect laps where I'm setting record after record on that, it's because the music flows well with it. My hands are turning right when like the music's starting to slow down, and then accelerating when the music's starting to roar up and start going through that. If it starts having like a rhythm where it's like back and forth, that's perfect where it's going through slaloms.
What if you pick the wrong song?
Exactly. And sometimes you get thrown off that way. Do you have
a DJ playing live in your car?
Liger, yes. So
he does take the time to pick the perfect song.
When I'm out there, and I've equivalated this a lot of the time, especially when you get the right song down to the right course, it is very reminiscent of dancing. Because you don't just go out there and say, start waltzing and having a country song playing. you have the proper music playing with the perfect partner and you both are in sync in how you move. That's how I feel like it's on the track, is that you in the car moving as one going through. And granted, a lot of the ways I feel stuff, I can hear my engine through the songs. Don't worry about that. I make sure it's down enough where I can hear that, hear the tire screech. But a lot of it, like you were saying, I feel that. I feel that through the seat, through the wheel. I feel that through the steering wheel. Minor, small things. And while that's all coming together and you have the perfect song going through, that's all when it comes together and it puts you in this whole nother realm where it's like, not only am I racing, but I'm racing on a whole spiritual plane that's above that. And it feels like that there's nothing that's going to put me there because this feels like fantasy. That's why it makes it important to me driving on that way and figuring out the right song. It's not just, everyone's like, why aren't you playing, Led Zeppelin? That's not what it matches today.
That's not your music.
It's, I could be playing a My Little Pony song. Why? Because it matches well with what I'm driving to. I could be playing, a techno fast beat going like crazy song because we're just going cone, gate, and the rhythms of bump, 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 bump. If you're going where you just drop it on the throttle, womp, you want to have it's like dun, 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 like with music building up with that. And then when it backs off the music, that's the perfect time where the throttle's getting back off and you're just paying attention to if it starts revving back up the music and it starts building up the beats and the anthem, then you want to be on the gas. All of it's got to be in sync. So that way it becomes the perfect dance. The perfect dance is the perfect lap.
I knew Grant would be super passionate about this. Right? That's why I brought it
up.
No,
this is exciting because I never understood why Grant was doing it before.
Yeah.
And like I'm always on the sidelines or sitting in the car going, what the fuck, man?
It's just his feel.
And now it makes sense. I mean, I get it.
No, I tease him about it.
Yeah.
But it's your thing and that's the way you like to drive. It's the way you like to feel.
Yeah.
More power to you, bud. Yeah. I just knew that you would be really passionate about it, so I wanted to bring it up.
You know what he did to me last year?
My thing is definitely the motor. I've always been into that. Like and I think it really draws back to my motocross days, right? Because you feel it, you hear it, you know when to shift because of the RPM. You can just hear it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's the music, right? Just listening to the car, and that's my rhythm. But yeah, everybody got their own thing.
Yeah.
Just thought it was cool.
Also, on the side note, the other thing that helps me when I go through, because I have a lot of ADD on the holds, I know, like when I'm listening to music, it kind of tones down the voice in my head. It just gets it where it's just all feeling, all instinct and driving around. I'm not overthinking myself. I'm what's coming next? What's going on?
It calms everything else
down. It calms everything else down. It puts things in perspective. But it
Which is surprising because I've heard some of the music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's music calms the beast, right?
Yeah. So, Jeremy, you're about to say Grant did something while you're...
Oh, God. Last year when we were doing the relay race, that sumbitch, every chance he got, he was trying to get close to the track to get the car to connect to his phone.
So he'd be on the track with the relay race.
You're out there and it's connect. That's hilarious.
You'd connect. And I'd be like,
it never
watch
did.
This, guys.
It never did. But I actually saw him doing it on my third run.
That's funny.
He's like
trying to get it to play. That'd be so funny. That's awesome.
I hope this plays.
Jeremy's had incidents at my house with music.
Oh my God. So last year we were getting ready to go to the track, right? And his house is about the halfway point between my house and work. So I call him. I'm like, hey, if we want to get out of here on time, I'm going to need to come to your house and shower. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. No worries. I showed up, jumped in the shower in the Mustang bathroom there. And I got to listen to My Little Pony.
My Little Pony
and Barbie
and
Girl.
Disney and Barbie.
That's awesome.
I have one of those smart devices in my shower room.
Yeah, so you could just tell.
Oh yeah, so I went to the other room and started playing, and the other thing is I changed the name of that one specifically.
No, so you can't.
He could hear me in the back.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah,
so good. Okay, gentlemen. It's been a great show.
It's been a good show.
Very good show. Listener, thank you for tuning in. Man, if you stuck through this one, you are a trooper.
Cult Classic follower.
I can't wait to hear what you guys race to.
Yeah, I want to hear it. I mean, let's have some feedback on that one.
Are we going to talk all about at the ghost car project? The update on that? Anything?
Has anything happened?
You haven't done anything.
Yeah, I haven't even.
Have you done anything
still
to lighter?
sitting in my yard with a tarp over it.
Is it?
It
Are you
is.
sure about that?
No, I haven't been home in 3 days, so maybe not.
I was actually talking to the Ford guy at my shop about the engine with it.
Okay.
And
Oh, God.
we've talked about swapping a different engine into it. We have, but he was telling me the specific engine in the ghost car actually would, for the horses we want to make, is roughly like what? Probably at least 400 horses.
Yeah, at least 4
or 5.
And he's like, with the engine you guys got there, it just needs heads and exhaust. And those things they breathe. Once they breathe,
yeah, we just got to open it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that may be the way to go instead of
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
instead of LS swapping it.
Yeah.
You know?
I
And
think
that's an update on that we have a possibility of just building up that engine. Now, you guys don't know what that is yet. But that was a hint.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a hint. But no, there's going to be a lot of planning going into that thing, I think. Parts will not be expensive.
Can we take the heads that you got?
Find,
the ones in your shop. Let's just put those on there.
once I take the ones off of my black car, you can have those.
Really? Will they fit?
I don't think they'll
If they fit, can we put them on?
Sure.
Yes. Well, that'd be
They're
so
not going to
amazing.
fit.
They won't fit.
Come on.
I don't think parts will be extremely expensive. We should be able to find a lot of good used parts, and refurb. So that'll be part of the project, I think, is trying to build that car up without dumping a
Ton of money into it.
it. And that
I think
that
money
can be a challenge in itself.
The money we get from the Lambo, we could will definitely be a good source to put in that.
Yeah.
Actually, with the car considered, could we consider that a not a Lucky Dog car, a Lemons car?
Yeah.
Could we actually
What's the limit on the Lemons?
$500.
Well, if I give it to you,
Yeah.
because I've already paid for it.
Yeah. And then the other things to do is technically, because they can sometimes market and be like, oh, we see what you did here, blah, blah. You can sell things off the car and that goes value towards the car. So that way, that's how you get more expensive parts.
Well, everything that was stripped off the car is missing,
Okay.
unfortunately.
We could sell the heads.
Maybe.
Yeah. You can sell the wheels.
Got 2 sets.
Yeah. I'm just saying, but we could maybe
there's some ways of
Yeah.
messing around with that.
Jeremy's got some
You
ideas.
might want the second set of wheels.
That's true.
Yeah, you might.
Yeah.
Actually,
rain tire slicks,
yeah.
wouldn't be a bad idea.
Who knows? Kind of lost my train of thought on that one. But I don't know if it'll qualify for Lemons.
But it definitely will be a good Lucky Dog car,
great.
though.
Yeah.
I would build that car into that as well. I think it will be unstoppable.
Oh, I don't know about that. It'd probably stop itself.
That's true.
At least a couple of times.
That's true on that one.
Why would it run?
But yeah, I think from parts that we have around all our shops, we should be able to put something together and make a decent, really good track car out of that.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to have another set of brakes because the ones on there might be all right.
Yeah.
For now.
Is there another Portland swap meet coming? I know we missed one, but is there a big one coming?
You know what we ought to look into is
Because I would love
the Puyallup swap meet.
Yeah, because honestly, if we went there with just a grocery list and a wish list and just see what we can find and tell people, hey, we got a ghost car project.
Yeah.
Would you like a shout out our podcast? Help us out. I think that'd be kind of cool so we can get going on that car.
What is typing 2024?
But that'd be fun doing something like that.
We might be able to talk some people down too.
Yeah.
You know who's really good at that?
Me.
No.
You.
No.
Rob.
No.
Well, I'm out of people to guess who.
Riley, my son.
Okay.
For some reason, that kid can turn gold into shit.
What?
Well, that seems like the opposite thing you want to do.
No. What?
So no, what I'm saying is
that
he
didn't
can
work.
He can get somebody that thinks they have gold
Okay.
into believing that it's not worth as much as it really is.
Okay. Why would we want it then? He'll probably convince me I wouldn't want it then.
Yeah.
No, what you do is tell him, hey, I'm kind of interested in that, but I think it's like twice the twice the money or,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So he can talk them down.
Oh, yeah. He is good at that. I don't know how he did it, but we were looking at a car one day and he's like, I'm going to see what I can do on this one. And man, he had that guy. Dude wanted $5,000 for this car. The dude told Riley he could have it for $1,800.
Jesus.
So we missed the Portland. There is not another Portland swap meet.
Jeremy, do you still have that Mega Squirt system?
July.
Who has that?
Good Guys Pacific Northwest Nationals.
I think Ryan took it. When is it?
July 28th, 26th to the 28th.
Damn.
Can we make that?
I think I'm out of town.
Loser.
I think I'm in Mexico
In July?
Double loser.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
That's going to be hot.
for a graduation present.
No, that's,
I know,
No, that's
it's
not July. You
awful.
guys, I thought you guys were going in June.
No, it's July.
It's been changed now?
End of July.
And I thought that was Hawaii.
They changed it to Mexico. Back to Mexico.
Okay.
All right. Well, listener doesn't really care about that.
Nope.
Let's wrap it.
Okay.
So,
Giddy up.
yeah, listener. Instagram at Untitled Car Project. Or
Twitter at Untitled Car Pro.
Oh, very good.
Yay.
Email.
At Jeremy.
No.
Google.
That's you're supposed to say it, Jeremy. There's a name behind the Google.
Oh, Untitled Car Project at Google.
At gmail.com.
Oh, Gmail.
There you go.
There
that
you go.
one.
All right. And, click follow on that podcast. We could use some followers.
Yeah, please.
Please. Go back and listen.
Let us
to
know
the
what you
other
think.
episodes.
Let us know your favorite episode and moments from our shows.
I
Hearing
would
back from that,
love
like
to hear
any
it.
comments, we'd love to actually know and
Love to hear it.
feedback.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.
It's always good hearing from you guys.
We'll do it again next week.
All right.
Have a good one.
Good night.